In the deep forest of the shadow forest in the vast world, the mist surrounds the ancient trees in the sky like a ghost, and the air is filled with the damp earthy smell and a faint decayed breath. Zixuan held the iron sword tightly in his hand, and sweat slid down his head, soaking his real eyebrows under the game helmet. He took a deep breath, and the connection of his brain waves made him feel the virtual chill straighten his spine. This was the 5th trial of the PvE boss battle. It's coming again. This ghost boss is just my star. Zixuan murmured, and his feet made a shattering rustling sound on the fallen leaves. He is a typical amateur, actually an office worker, and he has no talent in the game. Level 35, the equipment is a second-hand goods brought in the market, teammates? Don't mention it, he had already cheated. Now he is the only one, facing this big thing called Shadow Demon Lord. The boss stood in the middle of the clearing ground in the forest, made of twisted black vines, and his eyes were filled with red blood. It growled, and the air around it seemed to be torn apart, and the ground was shaking. Zixuan gritted his teeth and rushed forward. The sword flashed and chopped on the boss's vine arm, splashing only a few green juice, and then changed to a heavy blow. He was evasive, but he was still rubbed to the edge, and his HP fell half in an instant. The pain was realistic, like a real world being hit by a stick, and the chest was hurt. Die it. Why do you always do this? Zixuan retreated gasping, flashing through the sea of brains that had failed countless times. In the guild chat channel, others show off the rare materials dropped by the boss, and he is always the pig teammate who was ridiculed. He felt as inferior as a vine, and he even wanted to quit the game, but he could not afford the rent in it. The boss's attack rhythm is getting faster and faster. It raised its giant arm, and a low buzzing rose in the air. That was its signature skill, Deadly Vine Whip. The whip shadow blew out like a poisonous snake, heading straight to Zixuan's vital point. Zixuan instinctively rolled his slam, but the whip actually slightly turned in the air, as if he had predicted his movements, and he thrust his heart through the slaying body. He widened his eyes and thought to himself that he was going to be reborn this time. Just as the hair of 1,000 gingers one hair, a strange red prompt box flashes through the Zixuan's vision. The system's error code? No, this is a preview of the boss skill. It should have been hidden, but now like slow action, the path of the whip is clearly visible. Zixuan's brain flashed, and his body slammed into his side like a reflex. The whip wiped his shoulder and slashed on the ground and burst out a black fog. The soil flew over and poured on his face, cold and sticky. Is this a bug? Zixuan stood there in a daze, his heart beat like a drum. The Shadow Demon Leader's flash avoidance skill is a perfect predictor of the player's actions, making it indecisive. But now, it actually exposed its carp. Zixuan recalled the moment just now, and the red prompt was like a game's cheat code, giving him the vision he had predicted. He tried to take a step forward, and the boss blew the second whip. This time he had already prepared and relaxed, and the tip of the sword pierced the boss's weakness, that moving red heart. "Ha, eat my baby!" Zixuan shouted, making his voice tremble. The blade was not in, the green juice was sprayed, and the boss roared. Finally came. The entire body of the Shadow Demon Lord has retracted and condensed into a giant thorn. The air is filled with a sense of pressure, like a thunder before the storm. Zixuan took a deep breath and stared at the familiar red jaws. The bug appeared again. He suddenly leaned back, and the giant thorn rubbed over the tip of his nose, took a hot wind, and smashed the tree behind him, with wood chips pouring everywhere. Reversal. Zixuan seized the opportunity and followed the 3 swords, and the boss's HP strip fell violently. With the last blow, he rose and stabbed his heart with all his strength. The boss fell to the ground, turned into a black fog and dissipated. The system prompted him, "Congratulations to kill the Shadow Demon Leader," and received a rating drop, Shadow Dress. Zixuan knelt on the ground, his chest undulating violently. From frustration to excited, this transformation is like light and stone fire. He touched the newly dropped squid, and the touch felt as smooth as a silkworm, and a warm current surged in his heart. I'm not a waste. So I can do it too. This is not aura, it's the secret he discovered. The label of the larvae seems to have broken at this moment. He immediately opened the system interface and chose Report Bug. Finger dances on the virtual panel. The Shadow Demon's flashing skill has a pre-knowledge bug, allowing players to perfectly avoid fatal attacks. For details, please refer to the attached video. The system responded quickly. The bug is confirmed, verified. Thank you for your report. The bonus issuance, rare equipment fast protective, 5,000 skill points, and real currency transfer of 100,000 renminbi. The game's additional bonus, the top weapon Thunderblade. Zixia's eyes were glaring. Real currency? 100,000. His brain swelled for a moment, took off his helmet, and checked the bank app. The numbers were really jumping. From a young boy to a rich man, it was just one night. In the game, the Thunderblade appeared in the backpack, and the sword was flashing with blue light. When it was held in the hand, the buzzing sounded like thunder in the palm of the palm. This is so cool. He laughed, his inferiority complex evaporated, replaced by a burning confidence. At this moment, a figure walked out of the forest. The person who came was a middle-aged man in silver armor. His ID showed Xuan, and his level was as high as 65. He was obviously an experienced player. He just finished brushing the nearby dungeon and heard the silence here and didn't expect to witness the whole process. Boy, you just killed by bugs? Xiaolan walked closer, his voice was low and excited, and his eyes narrowed and quantum calling new equipment. I've been playing for 5 years and I've never seen the Shadow Demon leader so easily. The system award is not bad. Thunderblade is a magic weapon in the competition field. Zixiao took a step back, but Swan stood up and signaled that it was harmless. Don't be nervous, I'm a casual player, not a thing to cheat. Xuan, have you heard it? Specially help newcomers to optimize equipment. You're smart about this bug report. But just having weapons is not enough, it's useful. Come, listen to me. The Zixuan watch is hesitant for a moment, and the head is pointed. They sat shoulder to shoulder on the collapsed tree. Hahang opened their own installation panels and projected them out. Look, this sporty wrist protection and flashing avoidance are just right for your bug perspective. First point the skill to the agility tree, and then increase the attack. The obscure effect of the shadowy wind is kept for competition venues. It's not as simple as PvE. Competition field? Zhao eyes lit up, and Suan's words seemed to light up the new world. I used to only watch live broadcasts, and I never thought about going in. Those top players, guilds, I'm a newcomer like me. Xuan patted his shoulder and smiled happily. Newcomer? You have a golden finger now. The Bug Award is the starting point, and the competition venue is your dance platform. Remember, don't rush to show off, and practice from the junior stage first. If you use the bugs well, you can predict every step of your opponent. Go, boy, I'm optimistic about you. Zixiao stood up, and his heart was filled with an unprecedented determination. From the edge of inferiority complex to the peak of self-confidence, this step is practical. He imagined the noise of the competition venue and the audience's cry, proving that he was no longer the forgotten amateur. Thank you, Swan. I'll ask you to have a drink next time I see you. It's good at the game. Suan snatched his hands and disappeared into the fog. Zixiao took a deep breath of the fresh air of the forest, shining lightly, and the thunder blade in his hand. He opened the map and locked the primary competition scene. The light shines through, and the figure merges into the movements of the vast majority of the virtual world. At the entrance of the competition venue, people are filled with voices. Behind the iron gate, the sand is vast, and the air is filled with sweat and metal smell. The subcar entered the registration area, and the system prompted, in the first-class PvP match, opponent, LV-32 swordsman. Prepare for the first battle. He held the handle tightly and smiled at the corner of his mouth. Come on, let me use this flash to turn the reverse sweep. Terms, 1287. The entrance to the competition venue is like a mouth of a giant beast. The iron gate is flashing with cold metal light under the sun, and the air around it is filled with the hustle and faint smell of sweat. Zixuan took a deep breath, and the connection between brain waves made him feel his heartbeat accelerate, like a real game. In the audience, players gathered in groups of 3 or 5, shouting, "Look, the newcomers are in the venue." LV-35, the equipment is still okay, but it's a waste at first glance. Without judging the ridicule, he quickly opened his backpack and equipped the system's winning fast wrist and thunder blade with the body. Protect the wrist tightly and stick the arms, and it is swayed into the skin like current. The attribute panel pops up, flash plus 25%, agility plus 15%. The thunder blade was in his palm, his body was light and buzzing like a whisper before the thunderstorm, which made him feel full of confidence. Matching is completed. Opponent, LV-32 Swordsman Fist Boy. Competition mode, 1v1, infinite rebirth until 1 HP reaches 0. The system's mechanical sound rose in the ears, and the sandy square suddenly locked, and the transparent force field rose from the edge to block the outside world. The Fist Boy is a powerful guy. His ID is flashing green, holding a double axe in his hand, and grinning. "Boy, Uncle teaches you how to be a human being." He rushed forward, the axe blade roared with wind, and the sand was rolled up like a yellow fog. Zixuan took a step back and the familiar red jaw appeared in the field again. It was not the boss, but the opponent. The bug seemed to have expanded, and I knew the attack path of the boxing boy. The axe should be directly slashed at the top, but under the guidance of the red line, it is exposed like a slow lens. Zixuan flashed his body, and the thunder blade reversed the hand strike over the other party's waist, and the electric light burst out. The Fist Boy lost a piece of HP and hummed, "What the hell?" The second wave of attack came faster. The Fist Boy turned around and swung his legs, slammed the soil in the sand, and the child coughed. But the red color made him erect in advance, and the tip of his foot pointed to the axe handle, and the tip of the sword pierced his back heart. "Zhong!" Zixuan shouted softly, and the power of thunder and electric thunder penetrated into the other party's body. The Fist Boy twitched and fell to the ground. The system announced, "Strike." He won a 500 experience value and 10 competitive skills. In the audience, someone whistled, "The newcomer is okay, it's very smooth." Zixuan wiped the sweat from the top, and a warm current surged in his heart. From amateur to a first-time champion, this feeling seems to be broken. He matched the second scene in succession, and his opponent was an archer, and he was sniped in a long distance. But the bug predicted that the arrows were like marks on the palm, and the zombies were evasive easily and approaching the counterattack. In the third scene, the wizard's fireball rained down, and the heat waves scattered, and the air was filled with burnt smell, but he knew the place of each fireball, and the snake flickered away, and the sword light flickered, and the battle ended. After striving for 3 games, the system prompts, "Speak plus 50, unblock the primary competition badge." Zixuan stood in the middle of the sand with panting, and the sand stuck to his boots, causing fine friction sounds. The audience's discussion grew louder. "Who is this kid? It's amazing to operate." He smiled, from an unknown person to a hot topic, which made his back straight. But the climax is still at the back. The system suddenly pushed, "Special challenge, 3v1 attack mode, defeat the opponent team, and double the prize." Zixuan was stunned. This was a hidden level in the junior stages, specializing in eliminating rookies. He wanted to refuse, but the flame in his heart proved that he was burning vigorously. "Come here." 3 opponents appeared, 2 close combat gangsters and 1 assisted chaplain, whose IDs are Brother Crazy, Iron Wall and Glory Girl. They exchanged their eyes and Brother Crazy shouted, "Back to the side, don't let him gasp." The battle exploded, and the sand was like the center of a storm. Brother Crazy Wind's sword light swept down the leaves like a wild wind, and the shield of the Iron Wall held the retreat. The girl chanted buffs behind her, and the low magic buzzed in the air. The sun was slapped, and his heartbeat was like a drum. The limit of single struggle came. In the field, 3 red snails intertwined, Brother Crazy Wind's assault, the Iron Wall hit, and even the long-distance light arrow of Guangmei. The bug is fully open, as clear as a game. "It's now!" Zixuan growled, his steps were like a ghost, flashing past Brother Crazy Wind's sword first. The thunder blade broke through the air, and the arc hit the shield gap in the iron wall. The shield shattered and sounded brittle, the iron wall retreated, and the HP fell wildly. Guangmei's buff arrow shot, and his body slammed, and the sand made her skin hurt, so she quickly cut off her staff with her backhand. The man with the iron wall is on the same phone, and the sword shield is combined, and the wind pressure makes the zip's neck of the clothes. But the predicted jig shows that the cracked wire, the shield of the iron wall, will last for 0.5 seconds. He grabbed the time, stepped on the shield and levered the force, and the spear pierced the shoulder of Brother Feng, and the electric chain locked the iron wall. The two fell to the ground and twitched, and the light girl screamed, "Impossible! It's a magical operation." The Zilla fell to the ground, his chest was undulating, and the footprints on the sand were like battle maps. The audience burst out, "God operation! This newcomer is going to be popular." The system flooded the screen like rain. Kill 3v1, the bonus experience value is 2000, and the competition point is 50. Hope plus 200. He knelt down and gasped, and his heart passed by. So, I can do it. But there's always a limit to single gasp horses. From a solo journey to, or perhaps find a partner. After the battle, Xuan's private chat popped up. "Boy, it's good. Come to the logistics area. I'll wait for you." Zixuan sent it over. The logistics area was a rest area of the competition venue. The wooden table smelled rosy, and the wall was covered with war-loot armor, and the dings were made of the impact. Xuan leaned against the bar, sipped the virtual beer, and the foam bubbling on the beard. "Formal meeting, I'm a senior instructor. Your bug application is too rough. Don't stare at it all the time. Optimize it, combine the passiveness of the wrist, pretend to be a vicious enemy, and then really flash. Remember, it's nuisance, and it's nuisance to keep your eyes on you." Zixuan sat down, the bitterness of beer spread out on the tip of her tongue. "Thank you, forward. I thought it was enough to just fuck it, but it was only 3v1, and it was almost a turnaround." Shua clicked the head and projected a bug simulation picture. "Growing up is not a knight, optimizing bugs is your golden finger, but don't rely on it. Teach you a trick, after you predict it, you will have a 0.2 second counterattack, which makes your opponent think it is luck. Go to practice, the intermediate field is 5 goals, you are about to go." While chatting, a thin figure came over. "IDUZA, LV45, the reporter's logo flash." He wore a hood and his voice was gentle like spring wind. "Xuan, are you accepting disciples? I'm the God operating boy. I'm interested in hearing that you have fought in 3 fields to attack." Xuan laughed. "Yuza, the king of love, is coming just right. This boy needs logistics, you can do it." Yuza sat down, knocked on the virtual tablet, and the data flowed like a flash of a galaxy. "I will analyze the opponent's weaknesses. Your next scene may encounter a crazy wolf, LV38 assassin. The weakness is the long-term defeat. The story is free, but how about the alliance? Single train in the competition field, the bad guy is long overdue. I provide data, you can do your best." Zixuan was hesitant for a moment, remembering the isolation and helplessness just now, and pointed. "Okay, deal. From a solitary wolf to a teammate, it feels good." They clinked their glasses with 3 people, and the beer frothy. Yuze shared the video of the crazy wolf, watching the training on the side, and Suan pointed to the flashing of the rhythm. Suddenly, Zixuan discovered a minor anomaly in the simulation. When the wrist protection flashes to avoid touch, the system will give an extra 0.1 second experience bonus buff. "Is this a bug?" He reported to the system. "The after experience value overflows the bug. After verification, the bonus is, additional experience value is 1000, strength is slightly increased, agility plus 5. Zixuan stood up, his heart turned like a tide. He was no longer the fearful amateur, the team allowed him to see a farther path. Xuan patted his shoulder. "Go, the middle-level venue is ready, your strongest enemy, the crazy wolf is waiting. The level is successful, and the champion treasure is not far away." He returned to the sand and matched the push. Intermediate preheating battle. Opponent, Crazy Wolf. Prepare. The sand reappeared, and the sword was slammed, and the rhythm of the reverse ring was like a war drum, knocking every young person's heart. In the preheating area of the intermediate competition field, the sand slammed like a crazy wolf. Zixuan's thunderblade cast a blue light, and the assassin figure of the crazy wolf was exposed in the predicted red line. The guy's dagger should have been stabbed from a blind corner, and the quilt flashed half a second in advance. The tip of the sword pierced its shoulder, and the arc was shaking. The wild wolf hummed and fell to the ground, and HP reached 0. The system sounded, "Strike it out. You won 20 competitive skills and 800 experience." In the audience, there were scattered voices in the audience and were surprised. Did the newcomer win again? This flash of avoidance, and you can simply know the future. The zombie hit the ground with panting, and the sand stuck to the wind, causing a fine friction sound. He wiped his face and Yuze's private chat popped up. "It's good, the story has not been given in vain. The preheating ends, come to the intermediate entrance team. I'll wait for you." Zixuan smiled, sent light flashes, and came to the team hall of the intermediate competition venue. The lights are bright, and the walls are projected with real-time ores. The air is filled with the smell of sweat and the collision of metal. Yuze leaned against the registration platform, his eyes were flashing under his hood, and a virtual communication device was rolled in his hand. "With the file, how about your debut?" Yuze passed a bottle of energy drink and slid down his throat, making Z feel energetic. "According to your weaknesses, I will directly block the position and kill him." Zixuan took the drinks and walked into the registration area shoulder to shoulder. The system panel pops up, Team Competition Mode, 2v2. Matching. Yuze knocked on the tablet. The intermediate stages are different, there are many straights and courage, but there are traps and environmental interactions. Your bug is expected to be the core, and I manage logistics, monitor opponent buffs, mark hidden points. You are dedicated to avoiding them, and we can crush them when we understand. The first match began quickly, and the opponents were two LV-40 scattered gangsters, ID's Brother Feng Blade and Stonehead, which looked like the birds of the temporary team. The sandy floor was locked, and Brother Feng Bien shouted, "Newcomer combination? Take our axe." They joined hands and the axe light was like a storm, and the sand rolled up the yellow fog. Zixuan was in the red line in the field, and he said to Yuze in a low voice, "The weak spot on the left is on the leg, and the buff on the right is about to end." Yuze clicked the head and released the news, "Tag. Go!" Zixuan flicked his body and drove away the axe. The thunder blade directly grabbed Brother Feng Blade's legs, and the electric light exploded, and the other party stumbled. Yuze followed, and the information arrow shot out, weakening the Stonehead's defense. Now, end. Zixuan took advantage of the ropes and cut off the Brother Feng Blade weapon. The two of them cooperated tacitly, and ended the battle in just 1 minute. System prompt, the team is winning. Competition is 30, tacit understanding value plus 10. After 3 consecutive games, they moved like machines. The opponents combined from the bow wizard to the shield rigging file, and the weak point was completely destroyed by the rainfall, and Zixuan's predictions and flashing away the attack like a ghost. After the 4th scene, Zixuan wiped his sweat and said, "Your logistics is just a breeze. Without you, I will spend 2 more places." Yuze smiled and said, "It's just a replenishment. Look, the voice has increased by 50, and the audience is talking about skipping 2. But the real climax is in the 5th stage. The opponent is a well-informed adventure team, the Iron Blood 3, 2 melee madmen and a long-range wizard, LV-42 level, guild member. In the center of the square, the magic power in the air was buzzing, and the Iron Blood team leader roared, "Little man, try our AoE." The wizard sang, the red magic scent broke open on the ground, the flames poured out like tide, the hot waves swayed, the sand instantly charred, and the burning smell was pungent. Zixuan was nervous. This is the classic AoE Earth Fire Ring in the middle stage, with a wide range, and I knew that the red lines were spreading like the internet. Yuze, retreat. The fire ring is stretched out. I saw the blind area on the left, and the right side is extended for 2 seconds. Yuze flashed his eyes and grabbed the corner of Zixia's clothes. Come on. The two of them started to rush up at the same time. Zixia knew to guide him, and the snake flicked over the flame tongue, and the hot wind passed by his body, with the corner of his clothes slightly concentrating. The Iron Blood team leader was stunned. Full flash? Impossible. The axe blade brought fire on their storm, but Zixia had already reversed. The thunder blade flashed 3 times, the arc chain hit the mage, and the raindrops added a storm to the explosion arrow, weakening the defense of the entire team. Now, fight back. Zixia shouted. The two of them got along, and they had a tacit understanding. The rain marks the weak point, the subroots flash to avoid the middle and stab, and the flames are in the ripple, and the Iron Blood team HP is crazy. The wizard's last fireball was predicted to flash, and it hit the sand and exploded with black smoke. Zixia approached with the smoke and sealed his throat. The system announced, Team Victory. Rare bonus, Alliance Badge, Team Buff plus 20%, Experience Value 1500, Competition Point 100. The Tacit Understanding value is upgraded to 50, unlocking the Aware Sharing skill. Zixia and Yuza slapped their palms, sweat flew, and a sense of accomplishment in their hearts. The audience burst into shouting, the two are invincible. That's a bug, right? After getting the prize, the Alliance badge was put on, the two felt a warm current, and the sun's prediction that the red line could be partially shared with the raindrops. This tacit understanding is great. Yuze said gaspingly, from unfamiliar to getting a file, this battle. We are teams. After the battle, they send it to the logistics area. Xuan was already waiting. The table was filled with synthetic materials, and the air smelled of rosin and metal. Boy, do you hear you swipe the middle level? Come and sit down. Sunan pushed a bunch of crystals. The bug bonus is a lot of intensive, use it to synthesize. Look, Thunderblade plus Shadow Dress can unlock the Thunder Shadow Flash skill tree, combining flash avoidance and electric, double the agility. But it is not simple to add, you have to understand the skills. Zixuan sat down and projected the synthesis interface. He taught step by step, first melt the properties of the wrist to protect the characteristics and inject the number of bug points. Remember, add 0.1 second delay during synthesis to make flash avoidance more natural. Don't rely on red lines to predict your straightforward vision, moving your footsteps, and predict the opponent's psychology. Bug is the starting point, and real strength will last for a long time. Xiaolan's words are like a shout with a kick. Zixuan try synthesis, sword blade buzz upgrade, and new skill tree unlock, Thunder Shadow Flash, active flash avoid plus electric counterattack. He was alone in his heart, he used to only stare at red lines, like a peach dog. Now, you have to practice your own rhythm. The bug gave me the opportunity, but I proved that I couldn't stay out forever. When it was synthesized, a deep voice came from the side, interesting combination. Flash avoidance twin? Hearing that you were rewarded by bugs. Zixuan raised his head, and a tall figure approached, ID Shueting, LV50, Guild's Magazine Thunder League Flash Golden Light. He was wearing heavy armor and his eyes were like a keel. He just stared at the battle table. I'm Xiating, a guild star. Your prediction looks like a hidden mechanism. There are hidden traps in the competition field, and when you step on it, you will lock and avoid it. Try? Zixia stood up, and Yuze said softly, the information shows that he is a top sharp assassin, a specialist in the new B. Xiating sneered and released a projection crystal. Look at this, when you flashed AoE in the last scene, there was an invisible trap activated under the sand, reducing the speed by 20%. Game mechanism, guild is special. Want a challenge? Regional competition, I will teach you. He turned away, leaving a thunderous cloud cover. Zixuan, invisible trap? Don't pay attention. Yuza checked the data. It's exposed. Xiating is a trial. The guild is eyeing us. Zixia started the replay of the game, and found a score bug. The profit points were calculated by 10%, because the trap was misjudged. He immediately reported to the system. The intermediate field scoring system ignores the impact of the hidden trap, resulting in an underestimation of the score. After verification, the system replied, "Bug repair, additional competition points are 200, and experience value is 1000. Thanks for the contribution." Z clenched his fist and deepened his inner heart. From relying on bugs to active exposure, this is growth. Yuze patted his shoulder. "Good. It's a big deal to help us win the regional competition." Xuananta said, "Be careful of the guild, they don't like bug players to lose their risk. Go, the synthesis is completed, your Thunder Shadow will be the first show in the regional competition." They returned to the competition venue, and the system pushed the level area competition. The opponent pool has expanded, and the guild has forced to intervene. Prepare for team challenge. Zixuan looked at Yuza, and the two of them had their eyes mixed. The iron door at the entrance of the sand opened slowly, and the route to the guild players was hidden. "That bug boy, I'm staring." The tightness was full of bowstrings, and the fire of adventure ignited in his chest. Zixuan stepped forward, and the sword responded to his determination. The entrance to the regional competition venue is like a giant beast port. The Iron Gate projects long shadows under the concentrated light, and sweat, sand and hidden electromagnetic buzzes are everywhere in the air. Zixia and Yuji stepped in with their shoulders, and their feet stomped on the stone slab and made a crisp resonance. The audience was already full, and the projection screen was swaying in instant betting data. The players' shouts came like waves, "The two are here. This time I face the Thunder League, thank you for your excitement, it's exciting." Zixuan took a deep breath, and the connection between the brain waves made him feel the pressure sensation straighten his spine. From the mid-level competition to the current regional competition, this step has been heavy and exciting. Yuze patted his shoulder, and his eyes were flashing under his hood, and his eyes were flashing. The information has been updated. 3 people from Xiating's team, he is the assassin's main C, and 2 helpers, Shield and the Wizard. The weakness lies in the Wizard's CD leader. Xiating's continuous attack has 0.3 seconds of braking. Your Thunder Shadow is ready, don't fight hard. The sun pointed his head, held the thunder blade tightly, and the sword was as light as the heartbeat. Come on, let them see and know. The system prompts, Regional Team Mode, 3v3. Opponent, Thunder League Team. Preparation. The square was locked, the sand expanded into a circular competition platform, and energy barriers rose around to block escape. Xiating took the lead in appearance, and his tall figure was like an iron tower under the armor, and the dagger flashed into the cold light. His 2 teammates, Shield Brother of Iron and Shield, and the Mage Flame Spirit, one left and one right to protect the wings, and the guild's logo is golden light and shining. Xiating sneered, his voice as harsh as a scramble, "Bug boy, the regional game is not a game. Your prediction is a joke under the trap of our guild. Brothers, go!" The battle exploded, and the sand instantly blew up yellow fog. In front of Brother Iron Shield, the shield slams the line like a city wall, the flames retreat and chant, and the magic power in the air condenses into a red vortex. Yuze said in a low voice, "Tag." Flame Spirit's fire ring CD 15 seconds, the Iron Shield is weak on the side wings. He released the light arrow, and the blue mark appeared on the enemy's body. The red predicted carriage in the field was like a spider. Xiating's dagger was knocked out for the first time and headed straight for Ziyao's throat, which made the air rush. The body on the side of the subplate avoids, the lightning shadow is activated, the arc backfires, and the HP drops a small part through the plot. Little handsome. Xiating roared and followed. 3 daggers were like poisonous snakes, and the sand was rolled up and stuck to the wind of the squid. The rough touch reminded him that this was not a squid. Yuze was walking by, and the story arrow weakened Brother Iron Shield's defense. The side wings are opened, Zijia. Zizhang took advantage of the ground to avoid the second round, and the sword's spike pierced the side of the Iron Shield. The shield shattered and sounded crisp. Brother Shield retreated and hummed, "This flash of avoidance is too strange." The flames of the flames finally exploded, and the flames flooded like a tide, swelling the surface, and the burning sensation made Z's skin swell. The red line predicted that the expansion path of the fire ring was displayed, and he grabbed Yuze. Flash on the left, the blind area is at 3 o'clock. The two of them rushed up at the same time, the flames passed by, the burnt smell spread, Zixuan's counterattack light hit the flame spirit, the wizard screamed and retreated, and the CD fell into a vacuum. Xia Ting seized the opportunity and finally activated his ultimate skill, Shadow Thunder. His figure was blurred, and his lightning was ripped all over his body, and the dagger turned into 5 thunder shadows, which were like a flash network covering the entire field. The audience gasped, "Thank you, the trump card. The newcomer is over." Zixuan's heart was tightened, and the red color was fully opened. This time the carriage was even more complicated, and it was like a numb relationship. But the bug's golden fingers are like a light tower, clearly analyzing the falling point of each thunder shadow. The core is in the center, and the delay is 0.2 seconds. He was furious. "Laugh at me for being a bug? See how I end you with it. Yuze, cover it." Zixuan shouted, and the explosion arrow shot out of the Yuze situation, dazzled Brother Iron Shield. At the critical moment, Zilu took a deep breath, walked like a ghost, flashing through the thunder shadow on the left first, and the sand was blown out of the pit, and the wind swayed. Xia Ting's true body approached from the right, and the dagger pierced his heart. The red line guides, the sun leans back and leans over, and the thunder shadow rubs over the tip of his nose, bringing a sense of numbness. He used the counterattack, and the thunder blade stabbed out with all his strength, and the arc hit Xia Ting's chest. Center. Xia Ting widened his eyes, and HP fell wildly, causing him to froze in place. The little car did not breathe, and the sword was shining 3 times, and the sword was like a thunderstorm. Yanling tried to rescue, but Yuze's tag exposed her, and Zijia's clone retaliated. Brother Iron Shield came back to his senses and was disintegrated by the team's tacit understanding. Yuze weakened, Zijia avoided the throat and sealed his throat. The system announced, "Strike. Thunder League team eliminated." Awards: regional points are 200, experience value is 3000, and the high-level dungeon key Gate of the Netherworld. The audience burst into shouting, and the ID flashing gold of Zijia on the projection screen. Flash avoids the double sweeping guild. Hope plus 500. Zijia knelt on the ground with panting, the sand made his knees hurt, and his heart was burning like fire. Before Xia Ting fell to the ground and reborn, he turned his head and said, "It's just good luck, bug players. In the national competition, I will let you die." After the war, Zixia and Yujie were sent to the rest area, and Xuan's far-distance projection was waiting there. The wooden table was emitting rosin smell, and the wall was still rolling. "Boys, you're doing it well. That's extremely avoidable, and you know it's accurate to use it. But looking at the playback, your bug redline is delayed. The guild's interferer is at work." Xuan knocked on the virtual panel, and the data flowed like a galaxy. "Come on, I'll guide the upgrade. Bug the report system as hidden function. Use accumulated bonus points to inject the predictive module. C. The fusion of the storm and the thunder shadow flashes expands to 20%. Not only the predicted unit, but also the team attacks can be scanned. Try to activate the predictive scope expansion. The subarm operates as the system buzzes, a warm current flows into the brain waves, and blue light rings appear on the edge of the field. It's done. Now the red line can connect to the team. His heart turned like a tide. Xia Ting's ridicule was like a knife, stabbing his inferiority. But it is no longer anger, but determination. It's okay to start a business with a bug, but I have to prove that technology is the king. From now on, practice straightforwardness and integration of foresight is not a basis. Yuze said excitedly, "I got the prize, the high-level dungeon key. Go, explore the Gate of the Netherworld and unblock the new map. The area competition is over, this is a transit adventure." They activated the key, sent light flashes, and came to the Gate of the Netherworld, the entrance of the cave in the Netherworld. The smoke was like a ghost, and the air was filled with dampness and musty smell and sulfur. The stone walls in the cave are smooth and the dripping sounds like a heartbeat. Zixuan led the head, and the expectation was expanded to let him scan the front. Be careful, hide the trap on the left wall. In the dungeon, they encounter a group of monsters, ghost warriors, holding rocks, and roaring. Zixuan avoids the main attack, Yuza marks the weakness, and tacitly kills it. At the corner, a boss-level guardian appeared, plain guardian, his body condensed like a black fog, and his eyes were filled with green light. It swept out its fog claws, and the chill was like ice stinging bones. Zixuan knew the trait, the scope is expanded and effective. The blind area of the claw is in the lower plate. He flashed his body and the thunder blade entered the fog, the electric light exploded, and the boss HP fell. During the battle, the subcar noticed anomaly. When the Guardian's fog claw attacks, the system refreshes an additional layer of obscuring buffs, causing the player to falsely display the HP and underestimate the damage. "This is a bug," he shouted, and Yuza recorded the video. "Confirm, report it." After killing the boss, the rare materials were piled up like mountains. Zixuan opened the system. The buff of the Netherworld Guardian shows an error, resulting in a misjudgment of damage. Details are attached. The verification passes, bug repair, reward, installation upgraded material Neon Shadow Crystal X5, experience value of 2000. Thanks for the contribution, unlocking the new map Neon Deep Purple National Games Pre-Hot Zone. The Zixuan is upgraded with crystal stone to enhance the body effect and feels like a silkworm wrapped in ice. Yuza smiled, the voice has risen again, and the fan group has exceeded 100. The live broadcast is storing your retaliatory videos, and the bug hunter number is popular. Outside the rest area, the player circle came up, Brother 2, add friends. Teach to avoid scheming? Zixuan turned his hand and moved his heart. From being unknown to idols, this rebellion not only changed his mind. Xuan's projection flash, the regional competition has passed, and the national competition tickets have been obtained. But Xiating's threat is not empty talk. The guild will form a team. I know that expansion is your new weapon, practice it well. The next stage, integrate adventure elements, brush the deep and clean map and unlock the ultimate equipment. The subcart pointing, looking at the map projection, the dark and clean wheels of the underworld are like giant zodiac signs. National competition? Come on, I'm ready. Not only bugs, but my sword will also flash. They stepped out of the rest area, the fans cried like waves, Zixuan's steps were fixed, and the snails were murmured in the sheath. The shadow of the national competition is approaching, but this adventure of fire has become a raging flame, illuminating the road to the champions. At the entrance to the national competition selection in the vast majority of the world, there were crowds of people, and the list of participants was rolled on the giant projection screen, and the air was filled with the smell of sweat and the metal buzzing birds. Zixuan, Yuza and Xuan formed a team to register. After the system confirmed, the badge flashed golden light, the core team's Flash Alliance was registered successfully. Pre-selected competition mode, multiple rounds eliminated, 5v5 teams. The first round opponent, Sanran League. Ready. Zixuan took a deep breath, and his feet made a sure reply on the stone slab. The connection of brain waves made him feel the synchronized heartbeat and the movements of the square. From the surprise of the regional competition to the current national dance platform, this counterattack path has become wider and wider, but he is indifferent in his heart. The bug is expected to be his trump card, and it is like a double-blade sword, which always makes people wonder if it is real. Boy, don't be distracted. Xiaoan patted his shoulder, and the silver armor reflected cold light under the light, and his voice was as low as the old man's encouragement. The pre-selected game is not only about operations, but also about brains. You forwards, I'll guide you back. Remember, the team is not about adding, but about fusion. Yuza pointed at the head, fingered the flying dance tablet under the hood. After scanning the information, the first opponent is 5 scattered people, the strength is about the war and the weak is about the coordination. Zixuan, your predictions are expanded to us, and the tag master C. Zixuan smiled and held the thunder blade. I understand, front. From the solitary wolf to the team, it feels like family. The first round battle exploded on the floating competition platform. The platform was floating in the clouds, and the wind was whistling, and the energy barrier was flashing blue light. The scattered alliance is chaotic, and the shadow of the sword light and axe is like a grass. The blue-red intertwined carriage in Zixuan's field was like a map. He shouted in a low voice, "Use A, left-wing wizard CD window. Xuan, cut back row." Use A's information arrow shot out, weakening the main C's defense. Xuan's combat light ring was expanded, and the buff team was agile plus 15%. Zixiao flashed his body, the thunder shadow flashed, the arc passed over 3 people, and the enemy HP fell into the sand like cloud. In just 2 minutes, the system announced a victory, the first win in the elimination game. Score plus 100, unblock the team's tacit understanding. They rotate like machines. The second round faces the middle guild side team, and the sun predicts that the AoE fire rain will be resolved, and the heat waves will be wiped out in slightest. The third round, the rain turns into an enemy trap as an ambush, killing the 3 people. Xuan's side point, Zixia, avoid the flash and do not respond urgently, observe for 0.5 seconds, the enemy's psychology will be exposed. Zixia is pointed at the head, and the inner heart is warm. This instructor not only teaches skills, but also teaches his mind. In the audience, fans shouted, "Flash Alliance! The bug hunter is invincible." The voices surged, and Zixiao turned from a low self-esteem boy into a new star in the competition, but in the night rest area, he sat alone on the wooden table, beer foam bubbling on the edge of the cup, and his heart was as innocent as he was. This idea was too strong, and all the system repairs. What else do I have left? Just an ordinary player? The fourth wheel, the climax comes. System push, special attack game. Opponent, Thunder League Elite Team X2, thank you for your leader. 5v5, terrain, ruins and mystery. Zixuan's heart sank, and Xia's threat was like a cloud. When sent to the venue, the ruins are filled with stone pillars, the walls are scattered with damp and musty smell, and the sand is rubbing in the wind. Xia Ting's figure walked out of the shadow, and the 8-person guild team behind him, with golden light flashing on the armor and a dagger buzzing. Bug players, pre-select the game to end your legend. Xia Ting sneered, his voice like a scraper, the guild is a special trap, seal your predictions. Brothers, suppress. The battle exploded, and the passage of the mistress was like a giant beast's trunk, and the enemy divided his troops to encircle him. Zixia's predictions are fully expanded, and the red and blue ridges in the field are like thunder network, the ground is hidden, traps are dense, speed reduction plus locking and avoiding, and the magical buzzing bird in the air indicates AoE. Yuze shouted anxiously, Zixia, 3 traps on the left channel. The information shows that Xia Ting is mainly attacking the right wing. When Swan Bazong stepped on the striking, the sound of the silver armor collided. I'll take the front, you'll walk behind. Boy, fusion skills, predicted plus thunder shadow flash, skin the terrain and use it instead. Zixia gritted his teeth, and slammed his heart, rely on bugs, or believe in himself. But he had no time to think about it, and he activated the shared knowledge and the blue light was spread to his teammates. In the first wave of attacks, the 2 shields were swept on the wall, and the shield light was like a wall. The Method Master sang the Thunder Network, and the arc crackled in the air, and the burnt smelled like a nose. Zixu flicked over the first trap, and the sand sticks his feet and does not slip. He predicted the path, and he stepped on the edge of the trap, touching the speed reduction wave backwards the enemy shield, and the 2 of them lost 20% of their HP, anti-utilization. Zixiao shouted, the lightning and flashing fuse, the arc blew into the passage stone pillar like a whip, collapsed and gravel hit the enemy group, the dust soil flying in the middle of rain, the arrow marking weak points, the wizard is exposed, CD long. Xuan's light flashing, blocking a shield and fighting his arms, good. Boy, I learned it, bugs are tools, and terrain is your sword. Xia Ting roared angrily, and his hands started, shadow and thunder are thorning. His figure was blurred, and 5 thunder shadows approached from multiple angles, and the wind blew into each other, making the trunks hold the corners of the clothes. The guild team followed, the trap ring was activated, the ground cracked the green light network, locked to avoid -30%. Zixuan's heart beats like a drum. Red line analysis. The core breaking point is in the third sting of Xiating, delaying in 0.3 seconds. He growled, Yuza, the crisis of turning, the information blasting the network. Yuza danced with his fingers, and the data flowed into the trap, turning back into his buff area. Green light turned blue, and the whole team avoided +20%. Zixuan rushed over the ground, flashed 2 lightning shadows in front, and the touch of the electric numbness was touched. At the third stab, he stepped on the stone pillar to leverage the force, stabbed Xiating in his shoulder, and the electric arc exploded. Zhong. This is not aura, it is us. The war was upgraded, and the stones in the ruins sounded like thunder. The enemy's method master fireballs and rain fell, and the hot waves burned the skin. The sun knew that he would scan the entire scene, avoid multiple traps like ghosts, and his footsteps made fine sounds on the gravel, which led to the enemy's trap, and the guild teams killed each other, and HP was aggravated. Xuan pointed out, integrate high-level, predict the psychology of predicting the judgment, falsely fooling the enemy. Ziqi tried, pretending to retreat in the trap, and thanking Ting for chasing, but actually killing the side of the flash to help. Yuze laughed, crisis transfer. The information shows that there is a bug in their internal buffs. The guild is specialized in the Thunder Clan chain, and it will overflow and damage by 10% when the chain hits. Zixuan's eyes lit up, and the video recorded at the site of the war. The evidence is tremendous. He flashed through the last wave of Thunder network, and the tip of the sword pierced the core of Thunder, and the electric chain locked the entire field. The guild team collapsed, and the system intervened in the middle. The guild's special bug, Thunder chain, automatically overflows, and the violation is strengthened. Punishment: Thunder Lead deducts 500 points, and all members are banned from the game. Thanks to the report of the Shadow League, the prize, the legendary team badge Shadow and Thunder Protection, the whole team avoids +30%, shared predicted range is 50%, with a score of +300. Xiating fell to the ground and was reborn, his face turned red. You reveal my old truth? This is unfair. Ziqi stood calm while breathing, and his heart felt righteous. Bug is everyone's game, not your guild's toy. Fair competition is a real master. After the battle, the lights in the rest area were dim and yellow, and the wooden table radiated the smell of rosin. The three of them slammed the palm and passed the synthetic crystal stone. Boy, this legendary badge, unblocking the system's new function, custom skill slot. Drag your prediction module in, combine the Thunder Shadow Flash in the straight tree, not based on bugs, but balance. Come on, I'll teach you. The operation panel of the Zitone, with a slight finger, and the inner heart is as white as a wave. I was afraid of losing my prediction before, like a crutch. But Swan's words woke me up. Growth is fusion, not substitution. Skill slot activation, new technology balance flash is born, predicted to help direct vision, agility +25%, no delay counterattack. When trying, the vision is clear and the red line is no longer directed, but is guided by old friends. Yuze smiled, the moral high ground is taken, and the voice is broken. The guild will punish you, letting Xiating look down on the ground. Xuan pointed his head, his eyes warmed, boy, from being swept to being balanced, this is your turn. Our team is not only friends, but brothers. After half of the pre-selected game, the 8 strongmen got the ticket. Zixuan stood up, the badge warmly swayed, and his strength was comprehensively improved. It was no longer the shadow of bug dependent, but the real swordsman. Outside the audience, the fans said, All League is awesome. Teach the customization slot? He turned his hand and determined in his heart, prove himself, start from here. System push, the 8-point selection game is confirmed. Next round, single invitation, Xiating vs Zixuan. Accept? Zixuan looked at Yuze and Shaoan, and the eyes of both of them encouraged. He clicked yes and chatted in private and said, Boy, the team has won, where is the individual? After 8 strengths, I will fight for your balance. I want to try. Zixiao's mouth slammed, and the scorpion whispered in the sheath. The smoke in the ruins has not dissipated, the 8 strong fires have been burned, and the force of the individual's struggle is as full as a bowstring. The road to the army is full of surprise. The entrance to the 8 strongest single zones of the national games was burning like a torch. The ID shadow car on the projection screen was lined with Xia Ting's Thunder Overlord. The audience shouted like waves, and the air was filled with sweat, metal friction, and exciting electromagnetic buzz. Zixu took a deep breath and his feet stole a crisp resonance on the metal lattice on the floating platform. The connection of brain waves made him feel his heartbeat synchronized with the live broadcast of the entire server. From the territorial amateur to this focus battle, this step is like stepping on the cloud, and it has also imperviously suppressed Xia Ting's eyes, from the sneering of the regional competition to the current smile, like a poisonous snake. "Boy, don't be careless." Xiaoan's voice came from a private chat on the headphones. He stayed in the logistics area, and the silver armor was projected on the edge of the Zijia field, and the data crystal was transferred in his hand. Xue Ting's guild will never learn the Thunder Shadow Blast, not a single skill, but an installation drive. Hidden mechanism, his dagger has a buff that will lock the player for 0.5 seconds when it is flashed. Rain, logistics will follow. Rain was in the battle position next to him, and his fingers danced on the tablet under the hood. The blue data flowed like a galaxy, received. Zijia, I actually marked his energy fluctuation. The weak point is in the cold after loading, 0.3 seconds of empty file. The live broadcast is full, the fans have exceeded 100,000, and they are stable. The sun pointed his head, held the thunder blade tightly, and the sword was as light as the heartbeat. Thank you, brothers. My balance is here to be used. The system mechanical sounded, single challenge, 1v1 infinite rebirth. Start. The platform was locked, a round battleground of 100 meters straight, and the surrounding energy barrier rose, blocking all interference. Xia Ting appeared opposite, his tall figure was like an iron tower under his armor, a dagger with golden light flashes, and a guild tag was like a thunder cloud plate. He grinned and his voice magnified through the live broadcast. Bug boy, the team won. Now it's a test to prove that you are not relying on luck. Take my move, Thunder, try to shoot. His figure flashed, and the dagger flaked out 3 electric arcs, the wind was pressed, and the platform tilt was illuminated by the light, and the burnt smell was sniffed. The blue and red trunks in the subwidth field are intertwined, and the balance is activated no longer purely based on predictions, but are integrated into direct vision. He rolled his body, and the arc of the electric waves rubbed over his shoulders, and the touch of the electric numbness felt like a thorn, without any damage. The audience burst out, it's Flash. The new man's magical operation. Xia Ting's eyebrows rose and followed. The dagger was like a thunderstorm in a basin. Each shot was locked with a buff, and the buzzing birds in the air were like thunder before the storm. Yuze had to hurry to chat, the energy fluctuation is upgraded, and learning is coming. Tag his dagger core and the output is about to explode. The climax exploded. Xia Ting growled, the guild will learn, the thunder shadow explodes. His dagger was buzzing so hard that it was extremely lightning, and the lightning light in his body condensed into a shadow explosion. The platform instantly turned into a thunder network. 10 thunder shadows approached from all directions, and the trunk was like a twilight tangle. The heat waves and electricity made Z's skin swell, and sweat slid down the virtual clothes. The live broadcast screen was crazy and swept the screen. Thank you, Ace. The newcomer needs to be cool. Zixiao was nervous, and his heart was filled with humiliation of the regional competition. He could no longer be ridiculed as a bug. He took a deep breath, his balance was fully opened, and he felt like a light tower, and predicted to help analyze. The core of the thunder shadow is in the 5th lane, and the load will cause the dagger to explode for 0.2 seconds. It's right now! Zixiao shouted, stepping on the swaying ghostly, flashing past the first 4 shadows first, the quadrilling vibration and shattering, and the arc rubbed his body and raised the focus. As the fifth shadow approached, he refused to retreat and stepped on the mind-step the edge of the net to leverage the force, and the tip of the sword pierced the core of the Xia Ting dagger. The electric light exploded, and the backlash was like a tide flowing back. Xia Ting widened his eyes. Impossible. How did you predict? The dagger collapsed, and the system red frame popped out. The bug was exposed. Zixuan flashed video. Thunder shadow explosion device overloaded bug, causing self-destruction damage to double and strengthened. He sealed his throat with a blow, and the thunder blade arc penetrated into Xia Ting's chest, and HP reached 0. The platform was shocked, and the system announced, strike out. The fourth level of Zixu is strong. The bug confirms that the Thunder League equipment is banned and 1,000 points are deducted. The live broadcast hot message is like a volcano spray. In the full-service screen, God fights. The bug hunter has made merit again. Thank you for the collapse of the equipment, and you will die of laughter. Zixuan knelt on the ground and gasped, and the remaining electric power of the platform trunk was still jumping between his fingers. The audience shouted like thunder, 4 strong. The Flash is invincible. Yuze rushed onto the platform and sang his palm and said, perfect. Your balance is in harmony with no trace. Shaoan projected the Flash and smiled heartily. Boy, remove the bug, don't you? But remember, this is strength, not pleasure. Zixuan stood up, and a turbulent wave burst into his heart. It is refreshing, but it is like a double-blade sword that shows bugs. It gives me flying wings, making people doubt my foundation. From self-protection to now, he whispered, you can't just keep your own secrets, you have to pay for it to make the game fair. He opened the system and actively scanned the playback. It is recommended that the entire server check for similar overloading equipment to prevent the guild from being used. The system responded, give reward verification, rewards are expected to plus 500. The middle section turns rapidly. In the rest area after the battle, the wooden table smells of rosin, and the energy drink is over, and the foam is bubbled on the edge of the cup. I got the tickets for the 4 strong gates, but the Thunder League will not be good at rest. The information shows that they report a 50-member guild team, blocking the national competition channel, and trying to suppress you. Usepping the board data flash, confirm, Xia Ting ordered the cleaning operation. But we have a backup plan. Your bug report has been inspected by the system, and the entire server guild is under review. Zixuan clenched his fist, and his heart was in a deeper turn. Come on, this time, not only guard against the enemy, I want to resolve their traits. At the entrance of the passage, the guild army was coming like a tide, and the golden armor flashed, shouting loudly, Bug Boy, come out of the competition venue. The leader and vice president rushed onto the sword, and the sword was as bright as the internet. But the system intervened quickly. In the inspection and prevention of the illegal areas, the Thunder League deducted 2,000 points, and the forced transmission area was forced. The figures of the guild players were distorted and faded, and the sarcasm sounded. Zixuan stood there, the sling was humming, and the audience caught this scene on the live broadcast. The whole server said, the guild report failed. Zixuan sounded at the peak, and the fans exceeded 500,000. Yuza laughed, it's resolved. Your active report saved the newcomer in the server. Xiao Anta said, boy, from self-protection to contribution, this growth is so fast. Hope is at the top, and the road to champion is clear. The victory in regaining the ultimate copy of the War Netherworld Deep Core, the forbidden area where the high-level key is unlocked. The entrance is like a black hole swallowing light, the fog is scattered by stone doors, the smell of sulfur in the air is pungent, and the sound of water is like a devil's cry. The head of the Zixu balanced and flashed ahead, be careful, connect the trap. Go deep into the deep, the stone wall is wet and slippery and touched like ice. They encountered the ultimate boss, the king of the demons, the black shadow of the black shadow. His hands are like whips, his eyes are green and his roar is shining, and his low roar is shaking the air. The battle exploded, touched the hands and danced, the cold fog was swept, and Zixuan avoided the main attack. Yuza, mark the weakness. Xuan, all the buffs are opened. Boss Link skills, The first wave of fog whip is like a poisonous snake, the second wave of purgating the ground to crack green light, and the third wave of shady locking buff adds, causing players to falsely display it by HP, and the damage is underestimated by 50%. Zixu predicted that the expansion was opened, and the red line was like the net, this is a link bug. The whip and the whip will explode and the buff will show an error. He flicked his body over the first whip, and his touching hand blew the black fog, which felt sticky and touching. The UJ story arrow weakened, record videos, prove it. Shu Anling's light wings, boy, go. Use balance flashback. Zixiao used the counterattack, and the spike pierced into the boss's touch core, the arc exploded, the bugs were connected to the ring, the self-destruction of the boss HP, the boss's HP dropped by 30%, and the green buff reversed to self-destruction. The audience followed the dungeon lens live, and the screens were flooded, there was a sudden bug. Alliance Bull. With a climax, the zipper merged and saw it straight, flashed through the last lock, and the thunder blade pierced his eyes, end. Boss fell to the ground, turned into a black fog and dissipated. The system prompted, kill the king of the pure demons, drop the material purple heart crystal X10. Zixiao immediately reported, the magic ring skill bug, the trunk is broken plus display error, resulting in a self-destruction mechanism. Details are attached. The system verification is quick, major contributions are confirmed. Awards, permanent skill increase purple shadow balance, balance flash range plus 50%, direct increase 20%, shared by the whole team. Really transfer 500,000 yuan. The game's inner voice is expected to be plus 2,000. Thanks for maintaining the vitality of the game. The warm current penetrated the brain waves, and the Zitong felt that the vision was clearer, and the inner heart was twisted like a break. The bug is no longer a private treasure, but a connection between the game. I have become a self-protection player and a contributor, and this is the true reversal. After the battle, a private chat revealed a message from Xiating, boy, you won. It's our fault for the equipment to collapse, but your balance is real. I admit that bug hunters are not just about the energy. The Thunder League is withdrawn and suppressed. After the regional competition, will we talk about cooperation? The guild needs such talents as you. Ziqi was stunned and replied, okay, fair competition first. Allies? Look at the performance. Yuze smiled, potential allies? Interesting turn. Shaoan patted his shoulder, boy, enemy transfer, this is your charm. Looking at the peak, the four are strong and stable. They sent out a copy, and the system pushed, the match is confirmed in the half decision. Opponent, Mysterious Guild Phantom Club, Team 5v5. Hot map, the Mysterious Palace. Preparation. Zixuan looked at the projection screen, the palace was silhouetted like a dream plate, and a new fire ignited in his heart. From the single-trip peak to the team, the level is turning, the champion canopy is close at hand, and it also hides the higher battle. Will the hidden mechanism of the Phantom Society be the next bug? The snail whispered in the sheath, and the adventure of the rhythm knocked every heartbeat. The entrance to the Illusion Palace is twisted like a dream, with strange purple fog floating on the stone door, and the air is filled with the tide of moist moss smelling scented with ignorant fragrance, making the brain-connected zodiac feel dizzy. The pre-hot map of the national semi-final game is not a simple sandy land, but an illusion passage with layers of laces. The walls creep like living creatures, and the shouts of the audience outside the projection screen are buzzing like bees. Shadow Alliance versus Phantom Alliance. This is the top-notch fight. The guild team crushes the newcomer. Zixuan took a deep breath, held the thunder blade tightly, and responded to his tightness in his body. Rain beside him, his face under his hood was white, and his fingers danced faster on the tablet. The network has expanded, and I have pulled the entire server of the Samrin. The Phantom Society is not a single guild, but a three-top alliance group. Their battle is the Phantom Rover. First use the illusion trap to mess around with the vision, then the AoE clearance is large. The core is their president, Phantom Spirit, which hides buffs to copy player skills. The collision sound of Anang's silver armor was brittle, and he patted his shoulders. Boy, it's a good thing to have a lot of pressure. 5v5, our team plus 2 temporary allies, 2 casual masters, LV-55 swordsman and archer. Remember, the team is your back. The team is pointed, and the heart is like a wave. From the tertiary amateur to the semifinals, he has changed this way, but he faces the pressure of the top alliance, like a boulder pressing his chest. The system prompts, the half-final game begins. Map, the mystery of the illusion. Victory condition, break the other party's core crystal. After the light flashed, they fell into the center of the mystery. The passage was like a fog cover. The walls around the walls projected a false enemy, and the rustling sound made people creepy. The battle starts as soon as it touches. 10 people in the Phantom Alliance surrounded the 3 directions. The head's phantom figure was blurred like a ghost, the ID flashed purple light, holding a staff, and whispered, "Round is activated." In an instant, the wall of the maze was activated, the phantom clones poured out like a tide, the sword light and axe shadow intersected, and the phantom fragrance in the air was so pungent. The balance of the subcar scans the entire scene, and the blue-red slings are like a spider network opens. UJ, the right channel 3 phantom traps. The left wing is fake, the core crystal is in the center. The Rain Singer's information arrow shot out, and the blue mark appears, confirm. Their copy buff is working, be careful, your flash avoidance will be the mirror. The ally yelled, boy, it's up to you. But the first wave of attacks had arrived, the Alliance wizard sang, and the phantom storm in the vast area exploded. The purple wind was like a blade rolling through the passage, the hot waves scattered ice thorns, the touch was like a bone bending, and the vision was instantly twisted into the shattered glass. The pressure is like a mountain collapse. Zixiao's heart was tight, and the red line predicted that it showed the windstorm, the core was spiral expansion, and the blind area was 3 meters lower. Full team, left flash. Borrow the wall. He roared and took the lead. The thunder shadow flash was activated. The ghostly figure plodded over the edge of the storm, and the arc backed off. The purple-style fried debris stuck to the wind, rough as glass residue. Xuan followed, and the entire silver armor protective team said, boy, have a good eye. He swept the phantom and opened the buff light, reducing the storm. Yuze stomped his brain, and Huanxiang made his brain turbulent. The storyboard flashed incorrectly. I can't see clearly, I'm afraid I'll come up. This mystery is too strange. A sudden Bao was caught in a move, and HP fell to the ground screaming, retreat. This is not a man who beats me. In a crisis, Zixia's heart was burning like fire. In the past, he only wanted to protect himself. Now the team's eyes make his back straight, the leader. Yes, I have to stand up. He turned around and grabbed Yuze's arm, and his voice was as firm as a slug. Yuze, listen to me. Your love is our eyes, and it is probably the illusion's handle, close the information. Yuze was stunned, Zixiao's words were like a warm current pouring into his brain. He took a deep breath and the tablet restarted. Yes, the tag update. The core of the storm is under the illusion. Being strengthened in an instant, Yuze's eyes were clear, and the love arrow shot, disintegrating a wave of phantoms. Zixiao laughed, that's right. We are not loose sand, but alliance. The storm revived, boy, you are the leader. The whole team was full of enthusiasm, and Zixiao felt the inner change from following the followers to guides. This turnaround was like a break, and the responsibility made him stronger. It's a little fun. The alliance found that it was not good, and the fantasy roared, open AoE and crushed them. The second wave of round blasting was shattered, and purple cracks broke open on the ground of the maze. The energy was like a volcano spray, the heat waves were swept, and the gravel was flying like a pop, and the passage was shaking so hard that the bottom of the foot was numb. Zixu knew that it was open, and the balance flash shared with the entire team. The blue light radiated, now. It's ripped up by the edge of the crack, and the blind area is in the northeast corner. He led the way, his figure shuttled like thunder, flashed through 10 energy blades, and the tip of the sword pierced the magic staff. Suan helps to keep up, the silver storm rolled like a dragon, and 2 wizards in the back row of the alliance, anti-rebel. At the moment, allies used the counterattack to kill the side wings. The UJ situation exploded the arrow to hit the core crystal, and the purple light shattered and sounded crisp and brittle like glass bursting. The crystal crashed, and the system announced, Phantom Alliance was eliminated. The Lightning Alliance's Championship. Awards, Rare System Props Phantom Key, unlocking the hidden skill tree, the team scored 500. The audience was in full swing, and the live broadcast screen was like an avalanche. The gods are avoiding. The newcomer is the leader. But while the sun was breathing, he flashed the red error code in the field. There was a bug in the Alliance's copy buff. It not only has mirroring skills, but also overflows system resources, causing the entire server to be delayed by 0.1 seconds, and specializes in targeting top players. He went back to record video. The Phantom Round buff overflows bugs, resulting in game delays and improper rules, and details are attached. The system intervened quickly. Major bug confirmation. Phantom League, 1,000 points deducted, all members are banned from the first season. Thanks to the Flash Alliance contribution, and the personal prize of the subcar, experience value burst plus 50,000, realm breakthrough high-level players unblock, all attribute plus 20%, custom skill slots are expanded. The warm current flows like a tide, the Zixu feels the brainwaves clear, the balanced flash upgrade is the leader's flash, with a range of plus 30%, and the inner heart is alone. This is not only strength, but also the upgrade of responsibility. From normal to high level, I finally stood firm. In the rest area after the war, the wooden table smelled rosin, and the beer passed, and the foam bubbling. Boy, the leader is pretty good. I saw your growth when I encouraged UJ. UJ patted her red face and said, I overcome it for you. Erectile slutty buff plus 15%, we are stronger. Just as she was celebrating, she posted a private chat with Xia Ting's message, boy, congratulations on half decision. Internal story, the Phantom Club is the Thunder League's mall armor. They plan to conspire before the game. Use the Shadow Poison Arrow to pollute your props and reduce the flash avoidance by 50%. I provide the seat to resolve it. Don't misunderstand, this is a crime. Zixuan was stunned, and Yuze checked, really? Thank you for the ghost inside the Ting? Xiaoan narrowed his eyes, the struggle within the guild? It's so good to turn around. Let's resolve the conspiracy. They dive into the secret passage around the mysteries of the illusion, and the adventure elements are flooded. The passage is narrow and smooth, the sound of water dripping on the wall is like a devil's cry, and the smell of sulfur in the air is pungent. Scan of Zixuan's head, the trap in front of him, the shadow poison arrow is hidden in the stone creator. With the key to the illusion, they unlock the hidden copy, the purple of the poison shadow, the black hole entrance swallowing light, and the poisonous fog inside is spreading, and the touch is like acid rotting the skin. On the group of monsters, poisonous snake-like arrows emerged, and the sun avoided the entire team. Yuza, mark the weakness. Yuza's storyline was very popular, and the blue arrows collapsed and the fog was destroyed. Xuanyingguang Qingyuan, boy, this key is the golden finger. Upgrade the predicted model during exploration. Deeply entering their hearts, they encountered the guardian poisonous shadow demon, the giant beast condensed by the black fog. The rain of arrows was like a rain of rain in the basin, and the poisonous atmosphere made the vision blur. Zixuan's high-level realm is activated, and the leader's flash analysis of the flash, crisis redirection. The demon's poisonous arrow has a self-explosion bug, borrow it to retaliate. He was in charge of the guide, the rain of arrows was hot and hot, the spear pierced into the demon core, the poisonous explosion turned around and the demon collapsed. Drop purple poison essence, the Zixuan fusion prop, shadow poison arrow resolve. New gold finger unlocking purple shadow protective shield, poison resistance plus 50%, 20% of counterstrike. System buzzer, payment verification, experience plus 10,000. High-level player's specialty, team shared protective shield. After resolving the plot, Xia Ting's projection flashed, it's done. The Phantom will be exposed. They tied up system loopholes and manipulated the national game draw, with the goal of the real prize for the champion treasure. Be careful on the eve of the game, I should do it. Zixuan pointed, "Thank you, Brother Ting. From enemy to friend, this reverse is good. But the slander has emerged, will the game be a trap? Yuze's data flow, it's a big deal, and the entire server guild is moving. The system is already alert, and maybe a big update is imminent." Shaolin smiled, "Boy, we are ready to fight on the eve of the championship game. Your leadership journey has just begun." The map projection of the game lights up, and more secrets are hidden in the shadow. Zixuan looked at his teammates, and his heart was burning. The pressure turned into force, and the flames reversed, burned towards the peak. The passage is as loud as the wind whistles, the guild's whispers are like ghosts, and the suspicious curtain is slowly opened. On the eve of the national championships in the virtual world, the night was as heavy as ink. The virtual borders outside the competition were flashing with red lights, and the air was filled with tight electromagnetic buzzing and hidden whistles. Zixuan stood at the team's temporary camp. The wooden long table was filled with rosin smell, and the wheels of the competition map on the projection screen were like giant zodiac signs. He rubbed his eyebrows, and the connection between brain waves made him feel exhausted like a tide. The half-final game was still there, and the fans' private chats were flying like snowflakes, but they were worried. Who is the opponent in the game? The system has not been announced yet, and it feels like the calmness before the storm. He murmured, looking at Yuze and Swan. The finger under the hood of Rain still tapped on the tablet, and the data flowed like a galaxy. The news website shows that the first guild of the entire server, the Sky Overlord, had movements, but the details were blurred. "Let's take a break, the sun, the champion treasure is approaching." As the voice fell, a harsh system warning came out, "Emergency." The member of the Lightning Alliance Yuza was slammed. Location, the old base of the Thunder League. The guild's violation was activated, and the entire server was connected. Zixuan's heart sank. In the projection shot out video, the Thunder League was surrounded by a group of golden armored players. His hood was torn off, his face was white, and his arms were tied up with chains. The background was the abandoned Thunder League base, with vines crawling on the stone wall, and the air was filled with damp and musty smell. "Boys, this is the Phantom Society's report." They hooked up the Thunder Party and decided to the pre-game clearance. Sun and Silver quarreled and the Sword stood up. "I have long support, I can't get along with the system ban, and the guild's foreign players are not allowed to intervene. But I can hack into the supervision and mark the way." "Zixuan, are you going to save people?" Zixuan held the Thunder Blade tightly, and the Sword's body was buzzing like his heartbeat. "Of course. Yuze is a brother, what is the game? Friends have won everything." After a flash of heart, he remembered the change from walking alone to the team in the past. He only had personal reversals, and now, Yuze's safety is like a knife. Schwanku and project the base map. The old base is in the ruins of the border, guarding the 50 elites, and traps are full. Be careful of the bugs of the boss Lei Badian. He is hidden outside and can twist the space to avoid it. Zixuan took a deep breath, sent light flashing, and his figure merged into the night. He was alone, from a personal hero to a guardian, and this turn made his back straight and his pace became more stable. The entrance to the ruins base is like a mouth of a giant beast. The iron gate is twisted and reborn, and the scent of iron scent and low guardian verbal words are smeared in the wind. The Zixuan was covered with shadows and wind, and he was invisible. His touch felt like a silkworm wrapped in ice, and his feet were shattered and soundless on the gravel. Schwann's private chat came out. "Boy, the 3 traps on the left channel, the red line mark." The blue light appeared in the field, the sun flickered over the body, and the green net that was touching the trap passed by, and it was as hot as fire. Go deep into the inner hall, with stone pillars standing in front of you, and the torches swaying and casting a long shadow, making the smell of sulfur in the air pungent. Suddenly, a team of elites rushed over, and the ID flashed with golden light. The Sword shouted, "Invader! Block!" The war broke out, the sword flashed like a net, the axe blade roared, Zixuan's leader opened, and the red-blue shank was like a dance guide. It's as refreshing as light and fire. In the first wave of 5 people, 2 wizards sang the fireball and rain, the hot waves sang the surface, and the burnt smell spread. 3 close combat soldiers stabbed, and the trolleys were like poisonous snakes. Zixiao growled, "Come on." He rolled over the core of the fireball, and the ball hit the stone pillar and exploded with debris sticking to the body, rough as glass slag. The balance flash is activated, the arc backfires a magician, and HP is crazy. Shuan Changqing's voice was urgent, "What a flash!" The next wave, the space is twisted libations bug. On the close battle, Zixu predicted the analysis of the twisted spine, and his feet were tilted backwards. The slashing spikes over the waists of the three people, the electric chain exploded, and the three-pointer hits the battle to end. The system prompts, "Kill the Elite X3, experience plus 500. The audience followed in the live broadcast, and the screens were flooded with the screen, "Retaliate alone?" A magical operation. The layer pushes in, and the subcar penetrates deep into the core area. The channel is narrow and smooth, and the dripping sounds like a heartbeat. 10 elites blocked the road, and the leader assassin sneered, "Boy, Yuzhe is in the cell, passing our bodies." They activated the AoE Thunder network blocking, and the ground cracked the blue network, making a big buzzer, and the voltage caused the air to burn. Zixiao's heart was tight, and the red line showed the network's slit. The blind area was 0.2 seconds behind. He stepped on the internet to borrow strength, and the electric touch was invisible. The thunder blade flashed 5 times, killing the assassin and the 2 shields. Swan supported the projection bombardment and opened a corner of the monitoring. "Boy, turn right." The bug-exposed libation space twisted. It is an outer hanging module. The operating system is delayed, so that he can't avoid it. Zixuan gritted his teeth and stabbed, flashed through the arrow rain and ice thorns. The chill was like a thrust, and every step was like stepping on a steel thigh, and sweat was soaked in the wind. The climax exploded. In front of the core cell, Badian appeared, the boss of LV-60, wearing thunder armor. His eyes were flashing, and the space around him was twisted like a ripple. He laughed, "Bug boy? Your expectation is a joke under my outside." Brothers, surrounded. 20 elites came, and their skills were Fire Dragon Roll, Thunder Whip, Space Blade, Hot Waves and Cold Winds, and the stone walls were shaken and the debris flew. Zixiao's heart was filled with anger. Yuzhe's cry came out from the prison, "Zixiao, be careful." He shouted, "Shuan, record the evidence." The vision was opened, and the flash analysis of the leader was distorted. The bug core was in the Badian protection talisman, which delayed the operation and made the attack on the illusion of attacking the trait. Zixiao was evading, flashing 10 thunder whips, and the shadow of the whip hit the ground and exploded the black fog sticky. He swung over the fire dragon, and the hot wind swayed the corner of the clothes. As the space blade approached, he flicked the enemy, and stabbed the back of an elite, and the arc chain locked. 5 people fell to the ground. "Now!" Ziki roared, approaching Badian by using the sword to take the talisman directly from the tip of the sword. Badian twisted and avoided, and the space ripples made his figure blurred, but Zixiao's pure shadow shield reversed and the poisonous light returned, and the boss lost 20%. "Impossible! How can you see through?" Badian roared, and the activation eventually space collapsed. The entire cell was swallowed like a black hole. The light was twisted, the wall cracked and the sound was like thunder, and the gravel shot like a ball. The heartbeat of the Zixiao is like a drum, and the red line is fully analyzed. The blind area of the collapse is 0.1 second after the protection symbol. He leaned back and leaned over. Rubble rubbed his nose and brought blood, feeling cold and tingling pain, and the sword flashed, piercing the protective talisman. The bug collapsed, and the system red frame popped out. External inspection. Space twisted module violation. Badian froze. Zixiao hit 3 times, killing the surrounding elites. The door shattered. Yuza knocked out. "Zixiao! You are here." The 2 of them slapped. Zixiao gasped, "Brother, it's fine." The sound of the war. Zixuan detonated the core of the base. Bug energy overloaded. The stone wall collapsed, and the flames blew into the sky. The system prompts, destroy the illegal base and obtain a large number of resources. Transfer Crystal X20, experience explosion plus 10,000. The system recognizes, the sound of the Flash Alliance plus 1,000, and the whole server connects lay Badian. Xiaoan projected the poem, "Boy, you're pretty. The certificate has been reported." Zixuan helped Yuzhan leave, and his heart was ashamed of his own. "I just wanted to go against the scene by myself. Now, the feeling of saving my brother is really good. My friend has won everything, from heroes to guarding, this is my way." After the battle, the subarms opened the system and reported, Leba Tian's space-distorted bug, and the operation delayed and irregularities caused the guild to be invincible. Details are attached. Verification quick, major contribution. Some system mechanism updates, full server external scan upgrade, space skills level floor adjustment. Bonus, Zhijiao exclusive preview rights, apply to the new mechanism in advance, real transfer of 1 million yuan, skill point plus 5,000. The preview panel pops up, the new version of the flash avoidance tree is like a star map. Zhijiao tries to balance the shadow, increase its strength slightly, and feel more sensitive. This preview is a magic weapon for the game. He was determined in his heart and completed the turn-up, no longer a lonely wolf, the team is his shield. The rest area lights are dim and yellow, and the wooden table beer foam is bubbled. Yuze patted his red eyes and patted his shoulders, "Thank you, brother. If it weren't for you, I would have been depressed." Xiaoan smiled, "Grown up, boy. Guard the slut buff plus 20%, will be even more iron." As he was chatting, a figure walked in, ID Xiating, the golden armor was light, and his eyes were complicated, "Boy, I'm here." The identity of the ghost was exposed, and the Thunder League collapsed. "I officially joined and provided a game story. The opponent is the first Sky Overlord in the server, and the eldest Domus Emperor has the right to hide the system and can control the map changes. The game map is Sky Floating Island, the storm plus the floating trap, and the weakness is in the core pumice stone." Ziqi stood up and shook hands, "Welcome, Brother Ting. From enemy to teammates, this reversal is good." Xia Ting pointed out, "Your spirit of protection will win me." The complete information, the authority bug of the Dome Emperor, or maybe a system loophole. They gathered training to start, projected the floating island simulation, and whistled in the air to sing and scream. Zizhu head fusion new skills, leaders flash plus preview balance, sharing with the entire team, UJ information network has expanded, Xuan Wars skills upgraded, and Xia Ting assassin has integrated. During the battle, Zizhu flashed through the simulated storm, and the arc counterattacked the movie, "I understand tacitly. I fly with force, and the game is indestructible." Inner warmth, the teams merge, as indestructible as family. The final sound of the training was collected, and the system pushed, the final 24 hours a day. The opponent confirmed, the Sky Overlord Alliance. Hot challenge, floating island to try the battle. Zixiao looked at his teammates, and the sword whispered, and the shadow of the Dome Emperor appeared in the projection of the floating island. The climax is preheated, the level is pushed forward, the road to the champion is approaching like a storm, and the fire of Zixiao's guarding is burning even more vigorously. The island's competition platform floated above the clouds of the vast ocean of the world, and the wind roared like wild animals. The pumice stones on the island were shattered and sounded endlessly. The air was filled with the smell of scent and the magnetic buzzing birds, making the styling of the stylus wind buzzing. He stood at the front of the team, holding the thunder blade in his palm, and the buzzing bird was like a heartbeat. On the projection screen, the live broadcast lens of the entire server captured every detail, and the audience's shouts came like a tide through the brain waves, "Silver Alliance." Reverse legend upline. The moment when the amateur from the terrain arrived at this peak, Zixiao took a deep breath and looked at his teammates. The eyes under the rain had a flash of light, the silver armor reflected cloud light, the Xia Ting dagger turned lightly, and his eyes were definitely like iron. "Brothers, the Crown Army is ours. The authority bug of the Dome Emperor, we have removed it," Zixiao said in a low voice, his voice rumbling in the wind. System mechanical sounds spread throughout the game, National Championship, 5v5 teams. Map, Sky Floating Island, Duan Element Integration, Pumice Trap, Storm Vortex. Victory conditions, destroy the opponent's core heart. Start. The light of the sending light flashed, and the Silhouette Alliance fell into the east side of the island. The pumice under the feet swayed like a living thing, and the clouds roamed in the smell of sulfur. Opposite, 10 people from the Overlord of the Sky appeared. The Dome Emperor was wearing a golden robe, ID flashing Emperor light ring, LV-70 peak, and the deputy behind him was the Blade King and the Wizard Army. The golden light of the armor was dazzling. The Dome Emperor sneered, and his voice was like thunderbolt, "Bug the key? Under the sky, you are just a foul. The authority is activated, the floating island changes, the wind locks." He slapped his hand, the system panel was hidden, the pumice stones on the floating island collapsed, the wind whirlwind was like a giant beast, and the hot waves were wrapped around the ice, indicating that AoE was about to collapse. Yuze dances on the tablet, the storyline opens like a galaxy, tags. The core of the dome is floating in the heart of the island, the deputy will be weak in the wind Blade King and the wind CD leader, the mage group buff overflows, this is a permission bug, delaying the player's prediction by 0.2 seconds. Sun and silver armor shook, and the battle light ring projected a blue picture, planning. Subcar the forward flickered away from the main attack, and after the assassin came to the tide, the UJ situation weakened, and the archer and I and the temporary bowman took the side wings. Borrowing the dungeon stone, the enemy trap backfire. Stay calm, tacit understanding is our trump card. Zixuan pointed his head, and his heart felt warm from brushing the boss alone to the blood of the team, every step was grinding like a sword when he walked this way. The Blade King took the lead, and the sword light cuts the clouds like a wind blade, eat me combo. The guild followed, and finally broke out, the Blade King's storm took the lead, and the shadow turned into hundreds of wind blades, and the trunk was like a tangle of trunks, the wizard group sang Sky Thunder Network, and the blue light shone out from the pumice stone, and the buzzing bird made a pungent electric pressure, the dome power blessed, and the whirlpool locked the entire team, and the pumice stone sank like a mud, reducing the speed plus locking 30%. A refreshing orgasm is like an electric light burst. The audience gasped, and the live broadcast screens flooded the screen, the Sky combo is unsolvable. Is the newcomer finished? The red-blue trunk in Zifu's vision delayed by 0.1 second, but his leader's flash fusion preview permission was instantly analyzed, the core of the wind blade is in the third path, and the blind area of the thunder network is in the gap of the pumice stone. Yuze, mark the wind blade CD. The whole team, take the whirlpool to catch it. He roared, his figure activates the balance flash, and stepped on the pumice stone edge to borrow the wind power. He flashed through the 2 wind blades in front, and the blade wind was as hot as a knife tore apart, and the wind blew a corner. Xia Ting said in a low voice, "Come on." The dagger entered the wizard group like a shadow, stabbing 3 words to weaken the chant. Zixiao flashed his heart, this delay is the handle of the Dome Emperor. He leaned back and leaned over, the thunder blade reversed the body of the wind Blade King's sword, and the arc exploded and the chain locked the thunder network. The bug backlash made the internet self-destruct. The blue light exploded and the burnt smell spread. The 3 mages lost 40% of their HP, Shu Anling's light protection wings, counterattack. The pumice stone collapses, smash them. The whole team started to understand and used the dungeon elements to induce the pumice stone to sink. The wind blade king stepped on the air and fell into the vortex. The wind blade was killed by the wind blade and screaming. The system announced, the deputy will eliminate the wind blade king. The score is 20% first. The audience was boiling like a volcano, and shouting shocked the clouds, God cracked. The shadows are against the sky, combo kills them. Zixiao fell to the ground and gasped, pumice stone debris stuck to the boots and rubbed their feet, and a warm current gushed in his heart. The guild was in a mess, and the emperor's face was blue, little man. All rights reserved, the sky collapsed. But the sun was approaching the center of the island. The team to clear the side wings of the venue, the UJ arrow disintegrated the remaining mages, and the Nguan buff was agile plus 25%. The overlord of the sky was about to collapse. After the deputy fell, they receded like a tide, leaving only the isolated core of the Dome Emperor floating in front of his heart, with a golden robe and a red light in his eyes. Facing the boss's challenge, Zixuan was nervous. The Dome Emperor growled, "Boy, do you think the bug is yours? The authority of the sky makes me invincible." He activated the ultimate floating island Emperor Fall. The entire island was shaken, the pumice stones were like stone rainfall, the storm vortex expanded into a black hole, the space twisted and the heat waves and ice rays intertwined, and the dungeon elements were all open like the end of the day. Zixuan flicked his head, and the red line was delayed even heavier, but he looked back at the tide. The bug in the Shadow Forest discovered that from inferiority amateur to first-time competition, from Swan's guidance to Yuza's erectile dysfunction, from Xia Ting's enemy to the team's iron blood. This reverse is not a weather, it is the persistence of every flashback and the change of every battle. When the skill was perfect, the leaders flashed up and felt as if the light tower was the leader. He knew that he was whispering, "I am no longer the player hiding in the corner. I am a legend." The figure shuttled like a thunder shadow, flashing through the stone rain, and the stone blocks smashed the ground and exploded, and the soil clamped surface sticking. When the whirlpool was pulled, he used the wind power to reverse the rotation, and the tip of the sword pierced the weak point of the Dome Emperor's golden robe, and the arc penetrated, and the HP dropped a piece. Key turn and explode. The red error code flash in Zixuan's visual field. The Emperor of Floating Island has a bug. The authority controls the dungeon elements, causing the map to be overflowed, and the player to avoid 50%. He recorded the video on the side. System, the pumice stone trunk is retracted, and the details are attached. The Dome Emperor laughed, "It's too late." But the system intervened quickly. The bug is confirmed, and it will be repaired immediately. The Sky Authority is blocked, and the floating island balance is adjusted. The red light collapsed, the Dome Emperor's figure froze, and the pumice stone rain fell backwards on himself, and the heat waves retaliated against the burner of the golden robe. Zixuan won the extra buff, the reward bonus Diluo reverses, skip plus 40%, shared by the whole team, lasting 5 minutes. The warm current flow penetrated into the brain waves, and the vision was as clear as water. He shouted, "Brothers, get on. This is our peak." The guild collapsed at last, and the remaining members tried to rescue, but the team understood the same tacitly as the machine. Yuze marked the Dome Emperor's CD in the empty window, and Guang pressed the AoE, and Xia Ting's dagger rolled and stabbed into the back heart. Suddenly, the hidden arrow shot out, the Dome Emperor hidden mechanism, and a shadow poison floating point headed straight to Zijia's back. The poisonous light was green and pungent, and the carp was shaped like a ghost. Xia Ting's eyes flashed, "Boy, take the move." He stabbed into his shoulder, and the HP fell wildly, and the poisonous air made his face twitch. "Brother Ting." Zixuan turned around and supported her, her heart was burning like fire. Xia Ting gritted his teeth and smiled, "Small things, from enemies to brothers, this is worth it. Alliance, never dispersed." Erectile dying buff exploded, the whole team's military atmosphere was plus 30%. Zirong roared, "For Brother Ting, fight back." The thunder blade stabbed out with all his strength, the arc of the electric arc was like a dragon rolling straight into the core of the Dome Emperor, the heart shattered and the sound was brittle like glass bursting, and the black hole vortex swallowed the guild to kill the party. The system announced, "The Light Film Alliance wins. The champion is born, the Sun Team, with a leading score and pressure. Award, it is said that the champion is equipped with the Crown of the World, all attribute plus 50%, real wealth transfer of 5 million yuan, and the whole server is looking forward to the peak." The cloud sea is boiling, the crowd cried like thunder, the legendary counterattack. The bug hunter came to the top. Zixuan knelt on the ground and panted, the pumice stone shook, making his feet numb, and looked at his teammates. Yuze helped Xia Ting, Shuan's palm, his heart turned like a broken one, from proving himself to guarding everyone. This growth made his spine straight. The Dome Emperor fell to the ground and was reborn. Before the projection faded, he was cold and said, "Boy, you won. But the game is up to date, and your bug era is over." Zixuan smiled and said, "And? No, this is a new beginning. Only when the whole server is fair can there be a real champion." After the battle, the champion was floating in the center of the island, and the light was covered with a system. The crown of the virtual world was put on the top. The warm current was like a tide. The coroner felt the brain waves escalating, and the game deep-level code was floating in the field. Yuzhe smiled, "Brother Ting, it's detoxified. We are the champions." Xia Ting stood up, his shoulders buff. "The alliance is even more intense." Shaolin slapped his shoulders, "Boy, the Feng Feng is not the end point. The updated virtual world is waiting for you to explore." But the private chat popped up the secret message of the system: Championship Special Rights, Preview Update Bug Keyman's Special Path, Unlocking the Core of the System. Ready for an end conflict? Ze clenched his fist, and the whistle in the roar was humming. The guild collapse is imminent, the whole server pattern is reshaped, and the flames are burning to a deeper virtual world. The floating heart in the center of the floating island was like a swaying heart. The wild wind rolled up clouds and slapped like huge waves. The wind of the Zijiao was torn into cracks by the wind blade, and the rough edges were rubbed with the skin and it hurt. The golden robe of the Dome Emperor was shocked. He retreated to his heart. The red light in his eyes moved like a devil, and the space around his body twisted into a ripple, making the entire island tremble slightly. "Boy, your team is in good health, and the deputy will be fully killed. But pick me? The authority of the sky is so powerful that it will finally be called the devil will descend." The emperor roared, pressed his palm to Fushin, the system panel was hidden and flashed, and the dungeon elements were stormed. The ground of the floating island cracked a black fog, and the shadow of the king of demons slowly condensed. The familiar giant touching beast reappeared from the initial bug scene of Zijia, with green eyes flashing, and roaring like thunder and shaking the clouds. The smell of sulfur comes from the nose, and the heat waves huddled the ice and cold straightened the spine. Zixiao's heart was tight, and the red and blue trunks in the field were like a group of dancing snakes. The flash of the leader analyzed the purgatory demon's circumcision skills: fog whip, purgation, and obscure buff adds, which delayed by 0.3 seconds to lock. "Double Emperor, you're cheating. Team, come on!" he shouted, stepping forward with a ghost, and the thunder blade buzzed and accumulated energy. Yuzhe's private chat started to a hurry: "Zizhu, logistics crisis. The guild party has blacked the system border. Try to cut off our buff link. Xuan, hold on." Far, Xuan's silver armor projection flash, he and the temporary archer were guarding the pumice stone behind the island. The data of the guild hacker was like a red virus, and the electromagnetic buzzing in the air made a huge impact, causing the energy barrier to sway. "Boy, be dedicated to single choice. Here we stay." Yuzhe, reverse the hacker code. After a flash of light, the warlight circle opened the blue shield, slammed the virtual black arrow, and the archer arrows were counterattacked, and the data fragments opened like smoke. The game was hot, and the Zixuan single-handedly picked the Dome Emperor with a strong force. The first fog whip was released by the purgatory demon. The whip shadow was like a poisonous snake, and the trunk was distorted due to permission limits, which made the storm lift his ears. The audience sucked in a breath through the live broadcast, and the screens flooded the screen. All the call? The Dome Emperor is invincible, the newcomer wants to be happy. Zizhao's heart was like a fire, and the brain was flashing through the shadow forest. At that time, he only relied on bugs to survive. What about now? No, I'm not that amateur anymore. He growled, activated the balance and flashing, and directly led the red line. His body flicked over the whiptail. The fog was covered with sticky air like acid, and it was eroded. It was rushing, and the spear pierced into the weak point of the magic touch. The arc exploded, and only a small part of the HP strip fell off, but the Dome Emperor sneered, "Slouch the authority?" Breaking out. The giant beast ground cracked green light, and the explosion was like a volcano spray, and the heat waves crumbled and the gravel flew, and the Zijia felt the skin burning like a fire. Logistics crisis has been upgraded. Yuzhe's tablet data is in chaos, the virus red code is inserted into the buff link, and the team's tacit understanding value has dropped by 10%. Don't die, the hacker is the hidden hand of the Dome Emperor. Xuan, cut the source head. There is an interface under the pumice stone. Yuzhe danced with his fingers, and the storyline turned backwards like a white hole, and blue arrows shot into the pumice stone gap, blowing the hacker's spot. The electric sparks crackled, and the smell of burnt in the air spread. Zixuan laughed. Good, boys. The buff is restored, support is on. The light ring is reopened, and the whole team avoids plus 15%. The coroner feels the warm current penetrates the brain waves, and the vision is clear. Thank you, brothers, he shouted. The crisis resolved and the team was enriched. The pleasure bursts out, and the climax is like a thunderous pot. The Dome Emperor found it wrong, and his authority was fully opened, the demon, finally locked. The giant green eye burst out, with 3 layers of hidden buffs, whip plus the blast plus the space blade intersected. The spine was like a black hole swallowing light, extending the locking, making the red line blurred for 0.5 seconds. Zixuan's heart beats like a drum, and his heart is extremely limited to breakthrough. The bug gave me a look, but the real skill is a straightforward dance step. He closed his eyes for a moment, fusing the preview permission, and directly seeing it as a light tower analysis. The locked core overflows in the buff, touching and self-destructing. It's right now. Zixuan roared, his footsteps swept over the fog whip, and the shadow of the whip hit the pumice stone and exploded the black fog sticky feet. As the blast approached, he stepped on the edge and used the force to rush into the air, and the heat waves wiped the corner of his body's clothes. Under the cover of the blade, he leaned back, and the blade cut through the tip of his nose and brought the blood stun coldly. The red line reappears, the Zilla reverses the eye of the demon, and the arc goes straight to the core. The bug backfire. The buff overflowed and reversed, the green light rushed back to the Dome Emperor like a tide. The giant beast collapsed, and the self-destructed the birds trembled and floated on the island. The Dome Emperor HP dropped 60% and the golden robe charred black. He stumbled back. Impossible. Why is this bug reversed? Xia Ting's figure was shattered like a ghost, and the dagger stabbed the knife. Boy, relay. He used Zixuan's flashing air to stab into the back of the Dome Emperor. The lightning chain exploded, and the guild boss hummed and fell to the ground. The system declared, the Dome Emperor was eliminated. The Sky Overlord is fully destroyed. Zixuan almost crushed and won the victory. His heart broke the blue light 4 times, and the champion's pre-order bonus popped up. Stage champion set floating wings of the sky, agility plus 30%, team sharing. The points are inverted and inverted. The final decision is made when the game enters the extra mile. The audience burst into a volcano, and the live broadcast hot comments, crush the god to fight back. Zixuan combines bugs and skills, and a comprehensive expert is born. Zixuan stood calm and puffstones trembled, causing the knees to numb, and the heart turned like a break. The limit is not a collapse, it is a promotion. The bug is the starting point, and it seems to be the wings. I finally became the master who can stand alone and no longer be afraid of the head and tail. The final decision was finally made during the extra time, and the force was full. The Dome Emperor is reborn, and the guild party projection is projected. The final reversal of the picture is, but the wings of the celestial sky are activated, and the wings are spread out, and the wind is like a keel soaring. He recorded videos on the side, multiple final bugs, authority call overflow, buff lock delay, space blade auto-devouring. Details are included. The system responded quickly, the final bug is confirmed. Thanks to the Sun for his contribution, real-time repair full server authority mechanism balance, big update notice, restart within 24 hours, Bug Hunter Special Road. The king of domestic face was pale, and the party surrendered in a low voice. God, we think, this kid is a monster. The guild projection faded away, and the king of domestic kneeled. Boy, you won. The authority is a system loophole, I'm wrong. Zixuan took the snare, and a warm feeling in his heart. It's not a monster, it's growth. Only when the game is fair can everyone be happy. The plot turns to Qing congratulations and reflections. In the center of the floating island, the system light covers, and the developer secretly chats pop up. Zixuan player, thank you for your multiple reports. As a bug hunter, you have maintained the ethics of the virtual world. Pre-order bonus upgrade, real-time transfer bonus code to 3 million yuan. The game is named Zixuan Guardian, All attribute plus 10%, the developer's thank you letter. Zi Jiao was stunned, and the Chinese text in the letter was warm. Your discovery not only reverses yourself, it will also benefit all server players. Continue to explore, the new world is waiting for you. The team merged, and Yuzhe slapped his palm, the champion. The logistics crisis has been resolved, we have no enemies. Shaoan smiled, boy, reflect on it, from the corpse to the guard, this road is worth it. Xia Ting patted his shoulder, brother, I am lucky to join after surrender. They sat on the pumice stone, the projection of beer bubbles, and the laughter in the wind was rumbling. Zi Jia felt alone. After the refreshing victory, it was calm. We have all the wealth and fame, but friendship and growth are the real treasures. During the celebration, the system pushed, the hot copy is unlocked with a big update, the rebirth of the virtual realm. Explore the new mechanism to suit the new mechanism. They sent it into the copy, and the entrance was like a door of rebirth, with dazzling light, the stone walls inside were smooth and traceless, the air was fresh and sulfur-free, and unknown movements were hidden. The monsters appear, the new version of the pure spirit, a bug-free balance design, attacking the carriages pure and pure like water flow. The flash scan of Zixiao's leader, the new mechanism is expected to not delay, but it needs to be directly integrated. He flashed his body, flashed with the sword light, the arc collided with the light waves, and the colorful light burst out like a fire. Yuzhe's mark, the weak point is on the light core, on the team. After Xuan's wings were protected, Xia Ting's dagger rolled, a wave of clearings dropped rebirth crystal upgraded material, and the touch was as gentle as jade. Going deep into the core of the dungeon, they encounter the rebirth spirit of the guardian, the giant light and shadow. The skills are like the dance of the flowing light, there is no obvious bug, and they rely purely on skills to fight. Zixiao laughed, come on, a new challenge. He merged with the wings of the sky, avoided the middle and counterattacked, and was excited, the updated virtual world is more fair and exciting. After the killing, the system prompts, the exploration is completed, the adaptability is 100%. New adventures indicate, the cross-server alliance battle is about to begin, the guardian's son is ready? The team slammed the palm of the hand, the light and shadow in the wind intertwined, the warmth of the blessing has not dissipated, and the new fire has been burned. Outside the floating island, players of the entire server chatted in private, the update is coming, the gods and man are flying. Zixiao looked at Yunhai, and the sword whispered, and the journey of counterattack extended from the champion to the vanity. In the deep realm of the new light, the light and shadow ripples like water waves, the stone walls are filled with ancient data runes, the air is filled with fresh electromagnetic fragrance, and the clouds are filled with a faint smell of cloudy smell. Zixiao wiped the light on the thunder blade, and his chest was still undulating. The shadow of the new spirit just dissipated, and the falling crystal stones were as warm as jade in the palm. He looked at his teammates. Yuzhe was panting and closing the tablet. Shu and silver arc reflected blue light. Xia Ting rubbed the old wound on his shoulders and smiled at the corner of his mouth. This new mechanism is great. The pure skills without bugs are fighting, and it feels like I'm back to the original intention of the game. Zixiao said, a long-lasting pure excitement surged in her heart. From amateur to a champion, the bugs along the way made him aware of the shortcuts, but the current balance is the real challenge. Xuan clicked his head and patted his shoulder. The sound of the armor collision was crisp, boy, it should be fast. But the big update is only an hour left, and players of all servers are swiping pre-hot dungeons. The system says that the champion has hidden power to explore the ultimate link of the core of the virtual. Will you go? This may be the deepest secret of the game. Yuzhe's tablet buzzed, and the data flow flashed, confirm the information. Core the link is the system guardian area, hiding the final boss watchman in the world, which is said to be a test left by the developer. The guild party is still traveling around, and the dome's tragedy is not finished. They want to snatch the core props before the update and control the new mechanism. Xia Ting snorted coldly, and the dagger turned around in his fingers. Let them come. I owe my son a life, this time I will clear it. Let's go, the team is so brave, who can't hold it? Zixuan took a deep breath and the heart flickered over the twisted warm current. In the past, he just wanted to prove himself and rebel the ridicule of the guild. Now, it is his mission to maintain fairness in the game. Friendship is like a chain of iron, bringing them together. Okay, go in. This is not just a prize, but a player of the entire server. He activated the championship badge, the blue door opened slowly, and the team figure merged into the light. After the transmission, they fell into the core of the virtual world, a starry sky without any side. Below the foot is a floating code platform. The air is as light as current. The surrounding stars projected into the history of the game, from the boss battle in the Shadow Forest to the competition venue, each scene is like walking through a horselight. In the center, a stern figure stands, the watchman of the virtual world, shaped like a giant light and shadow mechanical beast, with red-blue data flowing all over his body. His eyes are the red heart at the core of the system, and his movements are like a heart, and he growls and replies to the starry sky, the invader. The test begins. Integrate bug knowledge and prove the qualifications of protection. The battle explodes, and the climax is like a star bursting. The Watcher's first wave of attacks was fatal, data collapse. Its mechanical arm swept out, and the red data whip was like a laser net cover. The twisting of the trunk lasted for 0.2 seconds. The buzzing bird in the air made the hot current numb the skin. The red and blue trunks in the field were opened, and the leader of the Zixuan scanned the entire scene. Rain marked the blind area of the whip network. Xuan, the light pressure is delayed. Xiating, the weak point is stuck behind the twig. He shouted, his feet flashing on the ghostly side. The whip network passed by, the arc of the arc was like fire, and the wind was burning black. The team was as tacit as one person, and the Yuza's story arrow shot out the blue mark. The blind area is at 3 o'clock, and delay is the core bug of the system. The Xuan War's artistic light ring expanded, and the blue shield resolved part of the current. Boy, go up. This bug is like the authority of the Dome Emperor, overflowing control. Xia Ting's figure blurred into the back, the dagger plodded through the gap of the mechanical leg, and sparked 4 times. The weak point is exposed, and the energy core is in the abdomen. The watchman roared, and the second wave of dimensional phantom lock exploded. The blue lock chains burst out like a living snake from the starry sky, locking the entire team to avoid it. The space twisted and the platform swayed, and the broken codes were like glass slag flying and sticking to the feet. The audience live broadcast and the advanced hidden links, and the screen was crazy. The final boss? The Zixuan team needs to operate it again. Zixuan was nervous, and his heart was silent. This chain is like the original guild trap. But I have changed and no longer fear. He activated the wings of the floating sky, and the shadows of the wings spread out and rose up with the stars. The chains pulled the corners of the clothes and teared them apart, making the sound crisp and cold, and the feeling was as cold as an iron. He turned around and swept. The thunder blade pierced into the chainstay, the arc backlash exploded, and the locking buff reversed to accelerate the entire team plus 20%. Good. Team, we will fight back together. Zixuan laughed. Yuze followed the story of the explosion arrow disintegrating the chain. Shu Inling lightly connected to the side of the wing. Xia Ting stabbed the robot arm, and the HP bar plummeted down by 10%. At the climax, the watchman entered the violent, the core collapses, attacks the whole region. It accelerates its red heart and creates 3 fatalities. The data stone rain falls like stars falling, the hot waves burning the clouds, the phantom clone's 10 mechanical beasts sweep, and the claws hit the wind and rush to the wind. The bug vortex black hole mouth, the swallowing light pulls the whole field, extending to a lock of plus 50%, and the sulfur and electric smell in the air is pungent. The Zixuan felt the pressure was like a mountain collapse, and the red line of the visual field almost collapsed, but integrating all bug knowledge was like a light tower light. The stone carriage retracted and exploded, the phantom clone buff overflowed, and the vortex core was the hidden loophole of the system. Brothers, this is the ultimate bug. The blind stone area is above the sky, the weak point of the phantom is in the projector, the vortex back to the energy core. He growled. The leader shared the entire team, and the blue light circle spread like a star network. The team's interaction deepened, and Yuze's eyes were fixed. Zishi, believe you. The tags are all open. He danced with his fingers, and the blue arrows locked the gap between the clones, disintegrating the 5 phantoms. Xuan laughed. I'll keep up. The light rings merge with your flash. The silver armor buzzed, the buff chain inserted into the body of the cell, and the electric light increased by 30%. Xia Ting slammed a stone, and blood scattered on his shoulders. Boy, slap. I'll cover it up this time. Zifu's heart was filled with warmth, and friendship was like a shield. From strangers to iron blood, this turn made him fearless. He swept through the stone rain, and the stone blocks smashed the platform and exploded the debris and rubbed the skin, causing pain. He swept over the clone claws, and the wind squished the corners of the key's clothes. When the whirlpool was pulled, he swung backwards and stabbed the energy core directly. The thunder blade did not enter the red heart. The arc exploded like a dragon, the bug vortex reversed and swallowed the Watcher himself, the mechanical body shattered, and the HP dropped 70%. Central Team, end. Zixia shouted, and the whole team worked together. Yuze exploded the nuclear weak, Shu Anling hit his arm, Xia Ting's dagger sealed his throat, and a wave of joint efforts ended the battle. The Watcher fell to the ground, turning into data, and the rain of light disappeared. The system prompted to touch the starry sky. Finally try to pass. Reveal the core bug of the system. The Watcher of the virtual world extends and overflows, resulting in the hidden unfairness of the entire server. Thanks to the Guardian Zixuan, who won the legendary ending prop The Source of the Virtual World, permanent full attribute plus 100%, the system granted new mechanism permissions, and the real wealth transfer of 10 million yuan. The sun knelt on the ground and panted, and the light ball floated in his palm, warm as if his old friend shook hands. The inner heart is turning like a tide. From the Reverser to the Guardian, this satisfaction is not only honor, but also a dedication. The bug is no longer the gold finger, but the game's connection, and I finally found the position, not the champion, but the protector. Yuze helped him up and slapped his palm. Brother, I'm fucking. The whole server is fair. Shu pointed his head, his eyes warm. Boy, I've grown up. This friendship is worth 1,000 gold. Xia Ting smiled. The guild is so damn. The rights of the Dome Emperor and the others are sealed. The Thunder and the Phantom Party are connected. The entire server guild is reorganized, and our Silhouette Alliance is a legend. At this time, the broadcast of the entire server system started. The big update is activated. Thanks to Zixia and other players for bug reports, the virtual world has been restarted. The balance system has been fully optimized. No violations are blocked, and the cross-server alliance war has begun. In the new era, Guardians are sailing. The starry sky shook, the light swallowed everything. Zixia felt the brainwaves escalate, the source of the virtual world is integrated, and a new map silhouette appears in the field. No adventure, fair competition. The guild finally collapsed, and the private chat of the Dome Emperor popped up. Boy, you won the whole game. I quit the game and came from the head. Zixia replied, it's great, play fairly. The team sent out the core and fell into the entrance of the updated competition venue. The crowd shouted like waves, Guardians! Take us to refresh the dungeon. Zixia smiled and looked at the teammates, calm and satisfied. The reverse ends, the new protection begins, and the wind of the virtual world blows towards endless possibilities. The champions are reborn in the updated blue light. The floating platform is as bright as a giant crystal. The surrounding clouds are surging, and the air is filled with fresh electromagnetic fragrance and scent of flowers. The system's newly added special effects to make each pumice stone shine brightly. The Zixuan stood in the center. The warm current of the source of the virtual world was still moving inside the body, and the thunder blade was hanging between his waist, buzzing like an old friend's whisper. Players of the entire server projected and gathered together, shouting like a wave, Guardian! Champion! From the moment he reached the amateur, he took a deep breath, and the brain waves connected to synchronize the heartbeat with the movement of the field. Yuze, Xuan and Xia Ting stood shoulder to shoulder. The team badges were flashing on the gold, and their faces were filled with sweat and smiles. The system's grand sounds are all servers. National Championship Final Champions Silhouette Alliance. Zixuan, as a core player, you reveal multiple bugs and maintain the game's ethics. Found the final prize, the Eternal Legend of the Game's Volume Guardian, all attribute plus 100%, unlocked by the special skill tree, real status improvement certified by top players across the country, social honors and honors, transfer of wealth, 50 million renminbi, and the payment is now available. The light bulb covers the cap, the number badge is like a crown and put on the top of the head, the warm current flows into the limbs, and a new skill guarding and predicting appears in the field, not only avoids attacks, but also prevents the team from becoming aware of crisis. The audience burst into tears, and his reverse edit was played back on the projection screen. Bug discovery in Shadow Forest, competition field competition, and the retaliation of the guild. Each scene was like a hot blood movie, making Z's eyes slightly warm. The climax of the ceremony comes. Zixuan stepped onto the front desk, and the microphone-like system interface popped out. He took a deep breath and said to all server players, "Hello everyone, I am Zixuan. From an ordinary office worker and a terrier in the game to standing here today, it is not a weather or a simple bug gold finger. Along the way, I discovered the shadows. The demon's flash avoidance of bugs, the overflow of experience of the wrist protection, the guild's authority externally. These are not my private hiding, but everyone's games. I open all the details of the contributions to make the system fully updated. In the vast majority of the world, this is a fair competition, and every player can reverse the situation. After the phone, the system responds immediately, thank you, the Guardian, the bug database is fully opened. The server update is activated, space mechanism balance, equipment overflow repair, guild authority review and upgrade. In the new era, there is no hidden injustice. The entire server screen was like an avalanche. Godman. Thank you, the player of the core has been saved. Idols are born, from here worship. When the player projected onto the stage, someone blew the flowers and smelled the fragrance, the newcomer ID flashed and shouted, Guardians, teach us to avoid it. Zixuan smiled, his heart swelling. From the ridiculed pig teammates to the idols who are grateful to everyone, this change is not only about strength, but also about the rise of the mind. He no longer feels inferior, but a light tower of confidence. The team retreated to the rest area in the backstage, the wooden table smelled rosin, and the beer foam was bubbled like a scent. Yuze put his cup on his cup, his eyes were shiny under the hood. Zixuan, fuck. I thought it was a croaker when I first met. I thought it was a croaker when I first reported my bug. Who knew that from the first level of competition to the 3v1 attack and counterattack, and then to the regional competition to win the Xieting team, we formed a team all the way, with information plus flash avoidance, simple and unrivaled. Xiaoan laughed, and the silver armor collided with a cheerful voice, boy, remember, Swan, the first time I pointed you at you? The synthesis of the fast-paced wrists optimized bugs and became straight trees. What about now? The leader's flash-sharing team, we have changed from scattered people to legend. Growth is not a night, from self-protection to guarding teams, this road is worth it. Xieting sips of beer, his bitterness spreads on his tongue, his eyes warm, from opponent to brother, I owe you too much. The ridicule of the regional competition, the single-choice retaliation, the guild collapse. You didn't report it, but pulled me into the group. The journey of the reverse, not only you, but ours. Xian clinked the glass, the beer's throat swept down, and his heart was silent. These people, from strangers to family, made me understand that no matter how strong the strength is, friendship is the backbone. From proof of oneself to changing the game's ethics, this satisfaction is as heavy as a champion. At the ceremony, the brain waves of the baby's brain scattered, and the game helmet was taken off. The lights of the living room fell softly, and the night outside the window was like a cloudy sea. He checked the bank app, 50 million digital jumps, which really made him stunned. From the Moonlight clan to the rich, they turned around overnight. He stood up, his eyes bright in the lens, no longer the tired office worker. The next day, he contacted the lawyer and formally registered the Flash Film Association, not a domineering force, but a shelter for newcomers. The guild base is selected in the Real Internet Cafe Alliance, providing free helmets and training, and specializes in teaching players optimized equipment and flash avoidance skills. On the first day of opening, the front line of the door lineup, the new player said excitedly, "Guardian, here you open a bug tutorial? Let's learn it." Zixuan guided himself, and when an LV-20 boy was clumsy and avoided, he patted his shoulder. "Don't be anxious, practice from the basics. Remember, bugs are the starting point, and straightforward thinking is the king." His heart was filled with pride. Getting rich is not the end point, helping others is really good. The guild quickly became popular in the forum, submode became a popular vocabulary, players across the country were grateful, and their social status made him news, and the honorary seal was hanging on the wall at home, flashing like game badges. Looking back on growth, Zixuan sat on the sun platform, the night wind blew, and the whole process floated in the sea of mind. The surprise of the Shadow Forest flashed, from inferiority to self-confidence. The success of the competition field proved its strength, the crisis suppressed by the guild, the team was built, the persistence of the bug pay changed the environment. Not only did he become the champion, he also made the virtual world more fair. Friendship and strength exist, balanced like a sword and a shield. Yuze's private chat came. "Brother, what's the reality? The guild is being extended, and new adventures are waiting." Xiaolan's voice, "Boy, don't be relaxed, the cross-server alliance battle is about to begin." Xiating's message, "Brother, thank you for helping me." Ziqi smiled and replied, "Come on, continue to protect." He put on his helmet again, his brain waves connected, and the map of the realm of the world was unfolded, and the island was as if it was called in the future. The moment before logging out, he whispered, "The reverse is over and the new chapter begins." The hot and bloody rest in his heart gave endless possibilities. Number of words, 1248.